third time's the charm. Let's see if we can actually start episode 24 of the Otter Players podcast. Ladies and
We're
gentlemen,
live. That's for
welcome
sure.
back and welcome to the third attempt at starting the podcast, which is always fun. When you podcast, there's always issues, always something going on. That's what I told the guys. That's what I get for being on time. Of course, it had to mess up, but again, welcome back. Glad to see everybody. Anyone who's joining us in the chat, great to see you. Again, Crash Bandicoot 5 canceled. Potentially rumors on the waves. Star Wars Outlaws latest gameplay not looking too hot, and more from Japan Studios finding out the truth of what really went on between them and PlayStation. But without further ado, let's get right into the intros. Weeb, once again, for the people. How are you, man? And what have you been playing?
Yeah, I think I'm cursed every time you ask me how I'm doing. Something goes wrong with the podcast.
Right?
Fine. Skip wave. Talk about in Madden or
Yeah,
something.
thank you, Omar.
You're
Love you
welcome.
too. Yeah, I'm good aside from the heat, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'll manage. Playing a Unicorn Overlord still, close to the end, but I'm going for the plat, so I'm trying to wrap up everything I can, and probably even things that I don't really need to, but I just want to see all the optional conversations I'm at a point where I have to choose my waifu, and I just want to see all the options. So max out all the relationships with every character and see which one's the best one. And I settled on Berengaria.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, the terrible name, but
She's an
she's my
amazing match,
waifu.
though. So it's a good pick.
Exactly. Yeah. She. I mean, as a unit, she's great. I mean, the fact that she can just demolish any enemy unit that you come across. Like I have basically the perfect main unit. I think it's almost the same as yours, but I put the druid in instead of the extra cavalry because I just love basically being able to weaken my enemies before I just thoroughly trash them.
Absolutely.
Um,
Are you really
yeah,
choosing her for her power or something else?
it doesn't really matter who you choose. I think in terms of unit composition, but yeah, she is definitely my most useful unit. I think because I do use her all the time, and she has like the best betrothal scene basically because the other ones are pretty tame. She's the only one who basically makes it official. If you catch my drift. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's sort of what I've been doing like the last couple of days because I didn't really make much progress. Otherwise, just been grinding those relationships, helping them with treating them to food and giving them gifts, and then looking at all the possible cutscenes, and then now I'm pretty much done with that, and I'm going for the sanctuary to get my upgrade my ring, and once that's done, I'm just gonna go ahead. I think that's pretty much like the final mission, just pushing through until the end, and then hopefully I hit level 50 somewhere, and I'll be able to pop that plat.
Nice, nice. So, did you not have any difficulty finding the treasure maps? Because that's what's
And
holding me back.
oh no, I do have that one, but yeah, you find them with digging, right? With mining.
Mm-hmm.
You think you pick, yeah. It is pretty random. There's not really any strategy to it. Sometimes I don't find any map, and then occasionally I just have map after map after map. So I just went through all the. I think probably it's good to just wait until you unlock all the different dig sites, and then just try to get like 5 each or something, and then you're good for the trophy. There's probably more I think than that, but that's enough to think to get the trophy.
No doubt. Cool. Again,
Yeah,
sounds like you're having fun playing my one of my games of the year. Unicorn Overlord is
absolutely.
amazing. It's been on sale several times, so if you have any semblance of interest, definitely recommend picking it up if it looks like it's something you might be interested in. And if you're not sure, there's a demo, as Omar is, very excited
Yeah,
about every time. Um,
and and your progress, you can load that into your
It is
main
over,
game.
huh?
So yeah, it carries over, so you don't really lose anything by playing the demo.
Absolutely. Yeah, we love to see that. That's definitely a favorite
Yeah.
feature of mine, as we've all mentioned several times on the podcast because it is awesome. Um, but yeah, now because we had technical difficulties, we now have our resident amazing Morgan here for us. So Morgan, ma'am, how are you, and what have you been playing?
um, have
Uh oh, might be cut.
Is she okay?
She might be cutting in and out.
Yeah.
You sounded good, but it's like your
Y-
mic stopped working.
okay, there we
Yeah.
go.
There you
Hey, can you
go.
guys hear me now?
Yeah, there you
Okay.
go.
Yeah. I think my sensitivity was turned up too high.
Gotcha.
Um, but yeah, I'm good. Uh, but as I usually do and what usually happens, I found another game to distract myself with.
Let's
So,
go.
the game, the game that I am currently, or not currently, I finished it now, is Nobody Wants to Die. It's a indie game. It's basically if you've ever seen the show Altered Carbon on Netflix. It's essentially like season one, and that was perfect for me because I love that show on Netflix. Great show. It's
Same.
essentially about
You want to be an
humans.
investigator? That's your thing.
Yeah, it's essentially about like humans basically unlocking the key to eternal life by essentially body swapping. Once their body gets too old or they get sick, they can just put their conscious into a new body and live that way. But the thing is, like always with breakthroughs like this, it costs, right? So it's like, the wealthy have no problem with this, but when you're poor and you're barely scraping by, which is like 99% of the population in this world, everybody's essentially below the poverty line. It's it's really hard, and I found it funny the way they set up the body system in this game. You essentially need to pay a subscription in order to use your body. The subscription starts at age 21. It's mandatory. Like you can't like not do it. You have to. And you have to pay this subscription monthly. And if you can't for whatever reason, or if you damage your body, or like, because you have to keep your body in top shape, like physically or mentally, like not crazy like Olympic shape, but just, good enough. And if you can't pay, then basically your body, they basically put you in like a storage essentially, like your body is stored and put somewhere, and then they store your conscious in like some kind of like jail essentially, where you're just kept there until a loved one or someone can pay you off and get you out. So, basically you're solving the murder of one of the founders of this breakthrough technology and trying to find what exactly happened. And there's good twists and turns. You're playing as a detective who's like over 100 years old, like I think they're like 120 something. um that grizzly detective whose wife died. That's always the story. They have a beat up past, and they're trying to find what happened with in their personal life through the case and everything. So it was good. It's a quick game. You can get through it in like, I think I have like 12 hours in it, but that's because I was like, you know, going really slow and looking through everything. But a regular playthrough you could probably get in like 6, 7 hours. Um, I beat it. I got the plat. It's a really easy plat. The
Congrats.
Wow.
story,
Ah,
the
you
story is good.
you platted.
I mean, the game's
Is
not
it
long. The game's not long, so it didn't take long to plat.
uh
But but
is it is it me or does sound like the story genuinely sound interesting and fresh idea wise?
I mean,
It's mainly because you
I
haven't
know
been
I know
exposed
there is
to
a
it. You
theory.
haven't been
I know
exposed
there
to
is
it.
I know there is a theory close to it, but game wise, I have never heard of concept like this, so it's interesting.
yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me a little bit of what's that Xbox game? The one made by shoot, the people who made Alan Wake. Uh,
Oh, the time one?
Control?
yeah, no, not
Oh,
Control.
the other one I know.
Quantum Break.
Quantum
Quantum
Break.
Break.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just because like you can kind of control. That's how you kind of do your detective work. You like you like fast forward and rewind time essentially at the crime scene to kind of put together the clues of what
Mm,
happened. So I wouldn't say it's unique because I've seen it before, but it's still good. Like I enjoyed my time with it, and I thought the story
mm-hmm.
and the twists were good. So I enjoyed my time with it. I think it's like $22 if you have PS Plus or something like that. So it's not expensive or anything. And it's on PlayStation, PC, and Xbox, I believe. So if you want to play it, it's there. I recommend it. I enjoyed it. It's a beautiful looking game too. Um, they really did nice. It's got that futuristic noir, but it's like that futuristic 50s thing, kind of like how trying to think of another game that does that, kind of like the BioShock kind of thing going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
They have
that's how I like
futuristic tech, but it looks old school.
but it's like old school, like 50s, like cars and telephones and stuff like that, but in the
Yeah.
future.
I think one
So,
of the things that I mentioned that looked trippy when you were in your apartment was you essentially have a typewriter, but it glows and looks all futuristic.
yeah, it's a typewriter, but it's a computer.
Yeah.
So it's essentially got that BioShock kind of theme to it. But yeah, I highly recommend it. I give it an 8. It was good. I enjoyed my time with it. It has like multiple endings. Um, like a good ending and a bad ending, but you can just kind of save it to the cloud, which is what I did right before like the decision point, and then just replay it those last 30 minutes again to get a different ending.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, other than that, yeah, I enjoyed that game. It was good. I recommend it. So it's called Nobody Wants to Die, and it's on all platforms, I guess, except Switch. Um, and I've also played a little bit of Song of Iron. That's
Nice.
a Xbox and PC exclusive. I played that on GeForce Now. I haven't gotten that far. I just started playing it like 3 or 4 hours before the podcast started. It's like a Viking side scroller. Um, really good. It's 2D kind of adventure thing. I guess we're trying to get vengeance for this other clan that came and killed killed everybody in our village and our wife or whatever. So that kind of adventure story so far. So like I said, I haven't gotten far in it, but it's good. It's a beautiful game, plays well. I like the side scroller aspect of it. But yeah, those are the two games that I've been playing. I'm still trying to get the plat Black Sad. But I'm just getting so
Wait, you
discouraged because
still at it?
okay, so I'm still trying to get the Black Sad, but like it's the situations with the cards are like I don't know where this missing card is that I can't find, so I'm just
You said it
it's
changes every
discouraging.
time, right?
You can do
Um,
another run
O-
and
Omar,
then yeah.
no, let me explain, okay? I'm already playing a new game because you have to do multiple playthroughs to get the plat anyway. So I've already started a new game. It doesn't matter though because I don't know where this card is. So it's just frustrating. I don't know how to find it. So I'm just kind of going around looking, but I don't know. I feel like if I don't find it soon, I'm just gonna just fuck it, just give up on trying to get the plat. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's essentially where I'm at game wise.
That sucks. I always hate the one trophy plat where it's like that one trophy is holding you back and it's on some bullshit. Like that's always annoying. So I definitely get where you're coming from. But it sounds like you went
Yeah.
out and you accomplished what you wanted. You said hopefully, you know, you were finishing a game here shortly, and not only did you finish one, but you platinumed it. So you definitely set out
Yep.
to accomplish that, and you did. So congrats again on the platinum. Um, and not in here right now, Viper. Congrats to him for the platinum on Shin Megami Tensei 5 because that is annoying and requires a bunch of playthroughs, and I'm not doing that. But congrats to him. um, but yeah, Nelson, I know you've been busy, man. You've been working hard, but I know you've been gaming a little bit in between. So how are you, man? And what have you been playing?
Busy. Getting ready for vacation. Kids actually leave in the morning, so trying to
Okay.
knock out the lawn and get packed and get laundry done. And I'm not home all week. I'm gone 15 hours a day. So, yeah, I got a little bit of Rise of the Ronin in. Played a little bit of Black Wind, which I just like those isometric type games. So I don't know if anybody else would like those or not, but I like them.
Okay.
Rise of the Ronin is cool. I'm really enjoying that. And then I got the last chapter on Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, but I'm waiting to finish that bad boy because I want to play with Will, and he just got it. So
Got you.
I went back to the like the home base area and stuff like that. Maybe play with him tonight. But
Mm-hmm.
I gotta cook dinner after this, and then get some laundry in, and then probably before my kids leave for their vacation, I got Final Fantasy Advent Children. Try to knock that out before I jump on and play that with him.
Okay, that's
And
what's
they
up.
Dead
leave,
life.
So.
Mm-hmm. It's like game, do some things in between, take care of the house. I see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's summer, so I gotta spend time with my kids too. Cause once winter rolls around, I ain't doing shit.
Nah, I feel that. Back to
Just keep it a
school.
buck. Back to school, but it's cold out. I ain't going outside. So
I hear you. Nah, I'm a hoodie weather fan, so I get it.
I live in Minnesota. Ain't no hoodie. It's a snowmobile suit.
Shit.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
Minnesota. Oh no, that ain't no. Yeah,
That's what
that
I'm
cold's
saying.
not
That's why
fun.
I'm not. That's why I'm not. I'm outside doing stuff right now because pretty soon I ain't gonna have that opportunity. Like, if I don't get my deck by fall, well, that bitch is gonna be bare ass naked. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, I definitely get
I
that.
can't work on it when there's 3 feet of snow outside. You know.
Yeah,
I ain't
that's
going
that's
out.
like that New York
Mm-mm.
cold. You got on long johns, a triple fat goose jacket, a scully, and a hat on
Yep.
top of it, and you still cold.
Yep.
So yeah.
I ain't. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, summers. Kids are home. Anything I got to get done for outside projects, I got to get done now because yeah, once it starts getting cold, it's we're hibernating again. That's where the game time comes in. So
Absolutely. That's what's up, man. Glad to have you here. And Omar, man, what have you been playing, sir? Because I know you've been all over the place lately. You've been completing a
Yeah,
bunch of different games. So, what have you been up to?
yeah. This week, when it comes to gaming, I genuinely went on a roller coaster. So we start with the beginning. Fuck Providence. For the people that don't know, that's the final boss of one of the final boss in Stellar Blade. Amazing game, but the difficulty spike between last 3 or 4 bosses is insane. Like I coasted the entire game. No biggie. I at the beginning I had a few issues, but I never made use of the special mode. I don't want to spoil the name, nor what you call it, extra healing besides the normal healing or any revive. But with this final boss, ooh, that delay attack, I couldn't get used to it. And the one hit kill, I'm absolutely not a fan of. But I made it work, and if I want to get the plat, which I want, I need to play the game all over again for New Game Plus, and it's just busy work, but that's a time for another day. Because right now I have bigger things to fry. Yeah, special mode make you invisible. That's the only thing about it. Damage wise, it doesn't have good. It doesn't have enough skills to give it any whatchamacallit.
You mean
And
Taki mode?
I didn't want to say the name, dude.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
it's fine. The
yeah,
statute of limitations. It's a name. They'll be okay.
yeah. So yeah, Tashi mode is I felt so underwhelmed by it. But its only good thing about it is it makes you invisible. So yeah, invincible. Other than that, I started playing Destiny 2 again, mostly because I wanted
What?
to. Yeah, hear me out. Hear
I was
me
playing that
out.
again recently. God, that's a good game.
Hear me out though. One, I'm not new to Destiny. I played
I'm not
one,
either.
and I played two, and I moved on. The old Destiny, when I say Destiny 2 right now, it's a totally different game. And I'm not talking about it in a good way. Like, I would be so pissed off if I used to be a Destiny player and I found out DLC expansions that I bought with my own hard earned money disappeared. I have no access to them. That's what happened with this Destiny 2.
You'd complain a lot more if they kept them and it took a terabyte on your hard drive too, though.
They killed certain expansions. It's crazy. Certain DLCs don't exist no more. I was so confused with the game. The only reason I played it is because I wanted to do something with my little brother that started a Twitch channel. And he just beat the final boss in the expansion DLC. Me, I dropped it. I couldn't, between the convoluted UI and the atrocious how convoluted the story is, I just dropped it. And to make matter worse, he beat the final boss, in the DLC. What he got? Trash loot. I I was more mad about his situation than him. But yeah, so Destiny 2 is not happening. I started Remnant 2 like for a 1 minute before deciding to play with my brother Destiny 2. Other than that, I am close to finishing Life is Strange 2. And what can I say, dude? It's Life is Strange. You get reminded why Life is Strange is goated.
I wouldn't know, but
Between
I'm gonna believe you.
between the story, the voice acting, the interaction, like I was wheezing, laughing my ass off between the character interaction. That's optional. It's just on your phone. If you scroll down up, you get to read everything that they interacted before. If not, you wouldn't know about it, and that's what makes it so marvelous. I'm not gonna lie though, it's heavy. It's not. The game is not nice. It holds no punches, zero punches. But I can't stress it enough. Play Life is Strange 2 and 1, and absolutely 3. Hey, Henrik Heck, that up to you if you wanna play it or not. I love this game. And I'm not new to the Life is Strange franchise. I beat one and I loved one. So two was a no-brainer. And yeah, after two, I'm gonna go to Bow. I really wanna play some Metroidvania next. I have a few lined up between Bow and one that recently just got released, which it's I'm looking up the name right now. We're gonna move on. It's actually in Game Pass, and you have Flintlock. That's also in Game Pass that I'm excited about. So decisions what to play, but for sure it's gonna be a Metrovania.
Yeah, we always say that you're honestly the Metrovania person
Oh,
who is obsessed
and
with
there
that.
is
So
there's the name Dungeons of Hinterberg. So it's an action. I'm not sure if it's a Metrovania or not,
I was gonna
but
say I
it's
don't think
an
that's a Metroidvania.
action adventure RPG game. So yeah, decision. But that's about it for me.
Well, you got a lot of time and a lot to play. That's a good combination to have. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, as for me, um, I've been playing, still getting through Dead Island 2. Getting to the latter half of that game. It's been a lot of fun. I still don't think it's as amazing as some people have set it out to be. Like a lot of people were acting like Dead Island 2 would just like change the game or something. Like I don't know what other people were playing, but I feel like we were playing different games. Um, but again, the game is it's plenty of fun. It's worth what I paid for it, and playing co-op has been a lot of fun as well. Um, Fox beat that game, so congrats to her. Miss I ain't got nothing to play, who also beat. Um, she beat what is it? Omar's favorite game. Um, the Ride Me Like You Ride Your Harley.
Days Gone.
There you go. Days Gone. That game. So she beat that last night as well. So, uh, yeah. As far as what else I've been playing, still working my way through Unicorn Overlord, like we was saying. There's just a lot of cleanup to do in that game, so it takes a bit. I did beat Shin Megami Tensei 5 the other night, and that's where it's going to stay. It's done. I'm not running no other runs through it. It's a wrap. That game
This dude have
dragged
a
on
trauma. You're traumatized,
forever.
yeah?
Like, the map design on that game is terrible. It is designed to get you lost. I don't know what Japanese creators have with labyrinths and things that make you go upside down or teleport you around on floors. Stop that. That is the worst game design mechanic in history. Stop it. Stop fluffing up your game with sections that are meant to get me lost. I can't stand that crap. Gets on my last nerve. So whoever the map designer is for Shin Megami Tensei 5, I can't stand you, and I hope your noodles are stale when you get ramen next time. I ain't gonna wish nothing crazy on you, but at least that, because I can't stand you. But yeah, that's mainly what I was playing. I was really concentrating on Shin Megami Tensei 5. I wanted to finish that up. And then I've also went back to Ace Combat 7. I've played every Ace Combat there is. I just never finished this one. I was trying to go back and do some of the harder challenges where you unlock the Ace pilots and some other things. But yeah,
Oh,
now
you went old school.
I'm almost done with that. It's been really good. Like I said, always love Ace Combat. Ace Combat 7 still holds up really well, plays really great. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing. So let's jump right into it. But first up, this one is for Nelson and Karaba, who are big Crash fans. I used to be a long time ago, but this was a rumor that the Crash Bandicoot 5 was in development, but ultimately got canceled despite the last game that released apparently selling over 20 million copies. At what price? I don't know. Obviously, that was over time, but that's an impressive number. Apparently, the best selling in the franchise's
Don't cost
history.
that much to make a remake, though. Even if they were $5 a piece, you made money. Shit.
Yeah, so
Let's
I
be
mean,
honest.
they made something. It apparently sold well, but for whatever reason, the prospect or the outlook for whatever the new game was going to be, they felt the need to cancel it. I'm not sure what was going on. They might have needed the team. We don't really know the reason why or whatnot, but this is something that obviously they felt strongly about. They're both big fans of the game. Nelson, I mean, how are you feeling about that? What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, we don't really know the sales of 4, and that was their first array of making an original Crash 4. My kids like it, but they prefer the Insane trilogy. I don't know. I don't tell them what to play, but that's. It had some unique new things like the blocks where you can change them colors and stuff like that or whatever, where you could jump across them, which was it made it actually more complex. It was kind of it made it harder because you had like time like where you would kind of like switch, kind of like light dark kind of things. You know, I can't remember how to explain it. It's been a while, but if like say one was glowing and one wasn't, if you switched them, one would be you'd be able to step on and one wouldn't. So you'd be like mid air and you'd want to change to the other ones, and then there was a lot of thinking. Maybe people didn't like that. I don't know.
No, I get that. Omar, again, something you were interested in. I know you're a huge platformer fan, and the news disappointed you. How did that in particular make you feel, or what do you think was going on there?
So let's give it a buck. They greenlit that atrocious Dead on Arrival Crash game, the online one. Yet they failed Crash 5. And last time I checked, Microsoft is gonna cover for them. Microsoft is gonna give them opportunities and whatsoever. What happened to that?
We knew better.
No, I think
yeah,
that's for their specific game, not for everything that they're doing.
exactly.
Yeah, because they have a specific game that they're funding with Toys for Bob or whatever. I don't think that covers everything that they plan on making. I think it's just that specific. They're publishing that specific game.
Mm-hmm.
They left Activision. I'm so pissed about it because of how, as always, developers are out of touch with reality.
You feel like they should have pushed through with the project then?
They should have cancelled that Dead on Arrival game. That's the Crash. I think it. I'm not sure if it's battle royale or not, but it's absolutely an online game, and it can be Dead on Arrival.
It's so dead, I don't
Vers-
even remember hearing about it. So yeah.
yeah, versus the actual Crash 5. That with 4, they implemented new stuff, and I played it. I didn't beat it because something else came in between, but I enjoyed what I played. And it's a pinnacle. It's their no for Crash. If they want to start a new franchise, no problem. But it's not like Crash didn't sell well, like 20 mil. That's
You only
impressive.
got to sell a couple million copies of a game like that to make a. Look at what was it? Ratchet and Clank only sold like 1.7 and it made a profit.
No, it's a 6 mil.
No, I'm talking about the new one.
Yeah, the new one sold 6 mil.
No, it didn't.
Okay.
We don't know what it sold. It hasn't been updated. It sold 1.7 as of like 2022 or whatever it was.
I'm gonna look
But
it up
it-
right now.
But it only okay. They haven't updated us in 3 years. Maybe it could have not by now. The remake did 6
Yeah, the only
million.
the updated
Remake did
number that I
6
saw
million.
was the 1 million one.
The remake sold 6 million, but
Yeah, that might be what you're thinking about,
Yeah,
Omar,
he's
because I
probably
think
thinking about the remake.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
here no, almost selling 4 million.
huh?
Yeah, like now.
Yeah, but not
Rift
6
Apart.
million is what we were saying. That's the remake.
Yeah.
No. He's saying that
I
Rift
I,
Apart.
I get that. You're not listening. The remake is what sold 6 million. We're not. I'm not saying your the number isn't higher than 1 point whatever million. I'm just saying the 6
Gotcha.
million number is from the remake.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We haven't been updated since they announced it. I think it was like 1.7. It was the same time Returnal only sold like 430, but they'd only been out for 6 or 8 months or whatever.
The last thing I'm
lifetime
showing,
numbers.
Rift Apart reported number was 2.7 million, and that was
No.
in February of 2023.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You're looking at Reset Era, Omar, which we tell you to stop using as a source.
No, I'm looking at Eurogamer. Here is how many copies some of Sony's biggest first-party games sold.
okay. What are they
what are you
reporting?
saying?
I'm gonna share it with you guys.
Just
Because I
tell us.
remember
Just tell
during
us,
the
Omar.
leak, it's selling that much.
Okay, so whatever. So anyway, it
Okay.
sold X amount. It's whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, focusing on Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot. It's upsell with what you call it, with Ratchet. That's why I'm so upset. Like Crash Bandicoot is the OG Ratchet, and with Pyro being gone, we only have Crash Bandicoot left.
So
And
this was your last chance for, you
Yep.
know.
This is why I am. Listen, I'm a hater, but I'm happy this happened because I don't want this. I don't want Spyro. I don't want Sly Cooper. Okay, I don't want none of them shits to get funded. I want something to be
Oh.
oh man, we don't need that. I'm like good. Okay, so like funds and resources could be used for other things. Okay, we don't need to go back to 2003. All right, I stopped playing Crash as soon as the PS3 came out. I was like, I had my fun with it. It was cool, but we moving on to bigger and better things. Okay, I'm sorry, Crash. You were cool. You were a fantastic character to play. You know, we had fun with you. You know, you served your purpose. But it's time for you to, you know, retire with that little tiki motherfucker. All right.
Tell that to Mario.
Y'all
that
can go.
Motherfucker is gonna
listen.
outlive us all.
But they revitalized. The thing about Mario though is Mario's used more than just a platformer. Like they put him in damn near every genre. But with Crash,
He's
they
still doing
don't
platformers
ever.
though.
No.
Yeah, well, sure, but
good?
they're not doing anything different. They're not doing anything different with Crash though. They're just doing the same shit they've been doing.
They did. Did you play the Crash Adventure? The
No.
one where you have actual what you call it, combos that you could make.
Yeah, but it still plays like Crash though.
No, it's actually different from the normal Crash. You
Was it
actually have
good?
fighting. You have it's an adventure. It was no longer what you call it.
Tony.
You missing the point. So, like he said, Mario keeps going, but every Mario game gets praised to hell and back. So, while one was good, one dropped the ball. I mean, this just is what it is.
I don't know. Mario Wonder like remaster.
It didn't drop the ball. It's just the amount that money that get invested in it with Mario. That's Nintendo biggest IP. But with Crash, that's not Activision biggest IP. That's COD.
It is. But if they felt it was still worth it, then they would have continued on with it, right?
If what you call it, Crash got the same money that COD was getting.
Yeah, that'll never happen. You guys,
sir.
This
Crash would save money as COD. Are you serious?
Never.
For
that doesn't
what?
even make sense. That's like
that makes no sense.
That's like the WNBA
COD
versus the
them
NBA
money
argument.
back in return.
I'm trying to explain the difference in what you call it in budget. If Crash had the same amount of budget as like something like Mario that is being given by Nintendo, then you
while
could
I
see
agree,
something. Yeah.
While I agree that a bigger budget helps, we have seen games that have been successful and have had sequels that don't have, you know, elaborate budgets. So I wouldn't say the budget is the only issue.
Exactly.
Because we've seen games with, of course, PlayStation has of course the one of the biggest budgets, with their blockbusters, hundreds of millions of dollars. But we've seen games with only budgets of single digit, millions that have gone on to be successful and have sequels. So I don't think it's a necessarily the budget is the only reason, why it's not getting a sequel.
Then
Yeah.
what do you think it is? Nostalgia is gone?
I just think, I don't know, maybe people just don't want to play Crash anymore. I don't know.
I mean, I just think you
It's-
gotta remember that ultimately it's up to the studio. These people have to create these games. These are the people who you're talking about years of their lives creating these games. Perfect example: the guys behind the Tales series are creating uh, an all new RPG, right? Because they are tired of creating that series at this point. They want to try something completely new. They don't want to sit there and create the same thing. And personally, if I was on that team, I wouldn't want to make that shit neither. It's uninspiring to sit there and try to make the same thing. Like it this is the thing you have to consider from a standpoint of a consumer and a fan. Like, you've got years and years and years of that game. Eventually, the game has to stop being made. Like, eventually, at some point, they're going to move on to something else. They're going to create other franchises, and that's ultimately where it looks like they wanted to go, regardless of what took place with the nostalgia of the last game that released. I mean,
yeah, it
I
could
think
just be
that's where
they're
they're
putting
at.
it on pause and they're just making something else and then they'll come back to Crash.
Yeah, that could be as well,
Maybe
because
maybe they
we don't have the
just
full details.
yeah, maybe they just came upon like a better idea that they wanted to do now that they knew they could get funding for and just like, okay, we got a cool idea for a game. So let's go ahead while we have this idea, let's just go ahead and work on this. Like, we can always come back to Crash because we know what Crash is,
Exactly.
but let's work on this new game, see how it goes, and then we can come back to Crash later.
Okay, so I would be with you if not for them already apparently allegedly started development on the game.
That doesn't mean anything. How many times have we heard about games getting canceled 2 to 3 years into development? That means nothing. That's just the shape of the industry. That's how things go. I mean, we talked about famously on here where, I think it was Shuhei went to see Santa Monica, and they were working on an entirely different game that never got to see the
like
light of day.
a sci-fi game or something.
Yeah, and he walked in there. He said, "This ain't it." Canceled it, and they started development on God of War 2018. Like, and we've never seen that game ever. So being in
I guarantee you
development
that's
doesn't work.
probably what
Well-
Corey's trying to revive with this new game.
Yeah, apparently that's the rumor. The Corey is trying to revive it.
I mean, which may have been what they needed, right? That's that is a sign of good product management and developer management. Maybe it needed more time. It needed more time to flesh out either the world building, the story, or whatever they wanted to present. Or at the time, they didn't have the tools they wanted to achieve what they felt like would do the game justice. There are many
Yeah.
reasons that you could cut something, right? And regardless, right? I like you said, I don't love, speaking of, in reverse of something that obviously is still a platformer, right? Mario, I don't love every Mario game. I barely buy them at this point, right? But the reality is, a lot of people, you can't deny a lot of the success of those offshoots and all the other things that people do. Mario is a particular character who's beloved and happens to fit the way they have molded him into all these different aspects, right? Whether it's the spark of hope that the Ubisoft team has gone after, whether it's Mario RPG, Paper Mario, all these other things. Like, Mario, regardless, Nintendo is a top tier talented team that is behind them that manages to create things that sell like crazy and that their fans want. And ultimately it's up to each developer to decide what they think that is. And like you said, when you got something new and hot, that's not their particular MO, right? Everybody's not going to be Mario. Almost no one has a character that's like Mario. The only other rival to that in these days is Sonic, and you see how much less love Sonic gets when he
That's
comes
because they've
out.
all been banned.
I mean, potentially,
I'm
but
just
I mean,
saying.
you've
They've
got
been banned for
you've
20
got
years.
long-standing and new fans of Sonic, right? I know several kids right now who love Sonic. Between the current movies, the current
The games
game.
are trash.
I'm not gonna say that. I ain't play them, so I ain't gonna talk about it. But I know several of them that like the current ones right now. But that's what I'm saying. Like that's how how hard it is to bring something that's so long-standing, constantly update it, and constantly keep it fresh. When you'd rather have something new. Personally, if I'm working on
So
something,
what
I'd
you're
rather something
saying
fresh.
is Crash needs a movie. That's what it needs.
That's what
Crash
it is.
needs
Yes,
a movie
yes,
to get it
absolutely.
to get it revitalized, get it popular with the
A
kids
good
and the
movie.
teens, and then they get their Mario movie or their Sonic movie.
Let's go.
And then
and an anime.
we bring
and an
Crash
anime
back
show.
in a blaze of glory, and everybody's like, "Where's the next Crash game?" That's what they need.
No, make
Yeah.
make a Crash RPG. Template.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I don't.
A Crash RPG.
I don't even.
Hey,
see
it worked for
myself.
Mario.
It worked for Mario. I'm not really. I'm not gonna
That's
tell
the
them
only.
no.
That's the only Switch game I finished this generation.
That
Yeah.
would be that would be
I
interesting.
played that from
That would be
cover to
interesting.
cover.
Yeah, you got to make it good
I'll
though.
give it that.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
interesting.
It can't be basic as fuck, because then I'm gonna be like, nah, I'm not about to give him kudos for trying. It's got to be actually good.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, like I said, maybe we'll get more details on this. Maybe we'll see what really went on. But obviously, whatever they're working on took priority, and that's what the team is moving on to. So hopefully it's something good. We'll see. I mean, I'm not, that particular developer's biggest fan, but hopefully they're moving on to something for the right reasons, and it looks dope. So
We all knew though
we'll see.
when Microsoft was buying them, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna make more games and make less Call of Duty and have these games making more games." We were like, "Nah, they're gonna make less games and make more Call of Duty." Let's be honest. We all knew that.
Yeah. They just had to sell it though. Had to get this stuff
They
passed
had
through with the
they
FTC.
had to, yeah, exactly. They had to make it sound good. Oh, we're gonna get more games, more people. It's like, nah, bitches, y'all making Call of Duty. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cancel everything. You're all Call of Duty. Y'all making a Call of Duty.
Yeah, what if they did just turn everything into a Call of Duty
MMO?
support
And
studio?
that's what they're gonna do.
I
They're
mean,
gonna,
pretty.
they're gonna make a
man.
Call of Duty MMO. There's Call of Duty turn-based. There's Call of Duty everything.
I would
They
love
need to make that money
Call
back.
of Duty turn-based. See how that goes.
No,
Shoot
I
a
put
bullet.
nothing
Not
past
gonna
them.
lie, I would play that.
No, you wouldn't.
Of course you would.
Nah,
I
we gotta
will.
get a call. We gotta get him a Call of Duty Metrovania. Then he'd play it.
I have no idea how that would work, but okay.
Oh man.
After it's not first person, I would try it.
Oh, he said, oh, or I'll be like, oh man, there's a demo on Steam,
Demo.
guys. There's a demo.
But
Speaking of,
yeah, we'll
yeah,
see. Speaking
Speaking
of what?
demo,
Yeah, demos.
I was about to say, yeah. Because we're talking about whatchamacallit,
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot, but also Paper Mario demo. So there is a demo for a game called Escape from Ever After. It's inspired by Paper Mario. It's on Steam. You can play the first chapter, and after it, yeah. Super excited about this one, but yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's something for people to try out if they're interested in that type of game or that style. As for that, I mean, we pretty much spoke on it, so we'll see what they do for the future and go from there. Our
Yeah.
next topic, Star Wars Outlaws latest gameplay, showed up. IGN, I believe, is the one that revealed it first. I've got the footage up on the screen for people to see it if they want. A lot of people were feeling like it was a downgrade. It looked like, graphically it wasn't as impressive as it was before. Personally, I've watched it. I get where people are saying on certain things. Some of the stuff, I know what Ubisoft is capable of and what they typically put out. Again, I'm also aware of how on one end you have certain footage or things that the marketing department has or that they're aware of or that they put out versus something that's fully controlled by the development team. And sometimes you get a mismatch there. So again, not really sure what is with the older footage. or the footage that was shown in particular that showed the extended gameplay. It didn't. There are certain parts of it personally that look just as good to me. It seems like a lot of people are focusing on the beginning of it, where it shows like some up close textures and things like that, and it just it looks like the lighting may not have been as amazing as it had been when they originally
they were
showed
playing
it.
it on a Series S. Sorry, we're not gonna. That's what it was. That's the excuse we're using. Okay.
I mean, honestly, they may have. I think the Series S would be lucky to look this good. Because I'm looking at the footage right now. Like I said, y'all can see it. I just don't see it. I mean, like I said, there was a rough texture here or there that was really close
Yeah, I saw
up,
that.
and it
But
was
for the
like
most
on
part-
like a basket at like a market. Like I was like, okay, like how many games have we played where it's like the odd texture out, and it looked crazy. But to me, the game still looks great. It still looks phenomenal. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to see it or whatnot or go over it, but the parts coming up now in the footage where it's like they get a little close on some of the textures. I forget what these little guys are called. Little guys that steal everything in Star Wars.
Jawas?
What are they called?
Jawas?
Yeah. They little junk tear apart. If you land your spaceship, they'll tear it
Yeah.
apart. Yeah.
Jawas. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Jealous.
she's having a conversation with them, and you see like a little rough texture on a box and a little C-3PO looking head in the corner, and it's like that's really the only time this footage really looked rough to me. But like I said, if you guys have gotten to see it or see it now, what do you think? I hear you chiming in, Morgan. What are you thinking?
Well, first, if you land on a planet, definitely lock your spaceship if you got Jawas in the area. That's number one. Because you about to come back to everything stripped like that shit went to a body shop.
She said it's like the middle of New York out there.
Exactly. Come back with no rims, no nothing. Your car lifted up on bricks, just gone, everything gone. But yeah, I mean, as someone who's been in the gaming community a while and who's been like listening and taking notes and listening to developers and learning a little bit about the behind the scenes and the making of the game and everything like that,
Mm-hmm.
I try not to be too harsh when it comes to like previews or 10-minute gameplays or here's the first 15 minutes or previews like that, because you come to realize that a lot of the demos or previews or something like that along the lines of like that is they're usually old builds,
Mm-hmm.
right? Something that it could be months old, and by the time they previewed it to other people, they've been improved. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're on version 3.5 by the time the 1.0 10-minute preview comes out.
Yeah.
And so what, the game comes out in when? August, I think.
Yeah, August 30th.
End of August. Okay. So yeah, end of August, September, something like that. So it still has time. I don't think it looks as bad as people are saying it looks.
Agreed.
Agreed. I think once again people are over exaggerating, mostly because of especially when it comes to Star Wars, IPs that people love like this, they're very particular, and if you've already pissed them off, as some of them have already pissed off about the fact that you're playing as this woman scavenger merchant, whatever, and they're just looking for shit to be pissed off about, like, oh, see, it doesn't look good. They're just looking for chinks in the armor to hit, the same way they're doing with the other Ubisoft game, the Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm not even paying attention to that. Like I use my own discernment. It looks fine. Yes, there are hiccups, but I mean, those are stuff that can be fixed. Like I'm not getting mad at like a little frame drop here or there, or like a little texture pop in or something, because I think it's good when developers want to show us stuff early, because then people can point it out, like, oh, the frames are messed up right here, or the texture is a little bit, or it's like wonky when she walks up, so they can see that feedback and get be like, all right, this is the area we need to fix. There's some frame drops here. Maybe we can lower something or do something, they have opportunity to fix things. So again, I'm not gonna judge it until like, the final product comes out and, people get their review copies and then they can say whether or not, okay, like I played it, the frames aren't steady on console, or there's kind of a lot of pop in, then okay, cool. Then we can be upset. And at that point, maybe I'll wait to get it, or, because it'll be half off by the time Black Friday rolls around,
Oh, absolutely.
So, and then by then it'll have like 6 or 7 patches, and it'll be up to 100%. So, either way, I'm not like and when it comes to Ubisoft, when it comes to their actual, we all have a thing to say about them when it comes to their storytelling and their gameplay mechanics and the repetitiveness, the repetitiveness of a Ubisoft world. But when it comes to like the texture quality and their frames, they're usually really good at that.
Agreed.
I don't I didn't like Valhalla as a game necessarily. It got too, like I said, it was too repetitive, too long. I got to the point where I didn't even know where the end of the damn game was. And I just ended up quitting.
Icon City by the time you got to the end.
Yeah, but what I can say is
117 hours of my life I want back.
See? Yeah.
I didn't finish it. I'm only halfway through
Facts.
it. That was enough.
Yeah, Valhalla, I when I went to the third map, I gave up.
117 hours, I'm like a quarter
I think we all have
of the game because I'm doing all this bullshit. Yeah. I'm like, bro, I ain't wasting no more of my life on this shit. I went back and played Ghost of Machine.
Yo, I did the same.
I played Ghost again.
Thing.
I was like, I can't play this bullshit no more.
I did the same exact thing. I went to Ghost. I was like, I need a good open world. But yeah, we all agree on that part. But like, as far as like, it was a beautiful game. I will give it that. It was very beautiful. The world was nice. It had good draw distance, everything like that. Like I don't remember. Maybe it did. I don't really remember. Because I think the only platform that had frame issues was Xbox, because I remember that being a whole debate, because that was like the first third-party game to come out when the new consoles launched, when this new gen launched, and I think it had like frame tearing on the Series X, but it didn't on the PlayStation. Because I don't think there was any frame issues when I was playing it. Not that I remember, but the technical side of the games, Ubisoft games seem usually, I don't want to say all the time, but usually are on par. So I'm not worried about that. What I'm more worried about is how this open world's going to play. It's going to get boring. Is the story going to hold up?
As shit.
Yeah. Is the story going to be good? Is the ending going to be worth it?
Are they just going to put a bunch of random boring ass shit to do over and over and over again?
Yeah, they going to Ubisoft it essentially.
Yeah.
That's more the stuff that I'm more worried about. I'm not really upset about the technical. And like I said, and that's a thing with all games that I see previews of. Like while I may see frame issues in a preview or a demo or the first 15 minutes, frame issues or pop in, or maybe, messed up character facial animations or something. Again, I take into account that, these could be old builds, and I don't like to judge before the final comes out. So I'm not taking it too to heart. Like, it was little minor stuff that can easily be fixed. So I didn't think of it as anything overly negative. Like, it looked fine to me.
I mean, I'm in the same camp, so I completely agree with you. If anything, like when I'm looking at this footage extensively while you were talking here, if anything, with some of the texture work in some of the areas, honestly, as someone who plays on PC, which is probably what this was from, I honestly feel like whenever they showed this, or whenever they recorded this footage, there's an effect that happens when you turn on frame generation on DLSS that really softens the image. And I honestly just kind of feel like that's really what happened when they were recording this footage. Maybe they were testing, frame generation or something else was on that normally shouldn't be when they're showing the game in its typical state. And honestly, I think that's really what happened. That was something that me and Priscilla talk about frequently, because she does not like how games get softened when you have to put on frame generation. Literally do anything else but turn that on, unless you absolutely have to. So I think that's really something that looks like it might have
Yeah.
happened.
I'd be interested in knowing what platform they played this on. Most likely it was PC, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's probably along the lines of what happened. Um, Having a look at the footage here, I know you also have some interest in it as well, Weeb. How are you feeling about the footage that you saw? You feel like you're still going to be
I mean,
A-okay on launch day?
I have to because I bought the gold edition. But I mean, it's Star
No
Wars.
doubt.
Nice. Nice.
So, I mean, if it has a good story and plenty of fan service, not that kind of fan service, Omar, but for Star Wars fans, a lot of recognizable vistas, characters, racist creatures, that kind of thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I'm good. Like, it doesn't
Facts.
have like it's an open world game, like, and it's Ubisoft. So what are we expecting? So as long as it's fun, as long as it delivers on what it looks like it's going to deliver on, I'm good. I'm not worried about that. So, and look, it's not like we're really in any uh, have a dearth of games to play. Like I think at the same time, Visions of Mana comes out. So if it comes in rough and needs to be patched, I'm good. I have other
Yeah,
shit to play.
What do you
same.
mean with your code? You have no issue with it, or
You didn't
No, he
hear
said
the...
he has other shit to play, so by the
okay? So
time
you're good. So you would rather wait. Gotcha.
Yeah, he
he can
can...
just wait for it to get
Yeah.
patched while he's
Mm.
playing something
Yes.
else. Which is, yes, I didn't even think about that. That's a good point. Like, our schedules are getting so packed for this fall, especially, that even if
Mhm.
one
All three
game, whether
games that I
it's
want the rest of the year are all coming out in fall. More than likely, I
yeah.
don't know when Use 10 is coming
Yep.
out.
So it's like if this game or any other game just happens to, not be good technically, we can just like put that game on hold. It might help with the schedule. Just put it on hold for a little bit,
Yeah.
wait for it to get patched, and then move on to
Mm-hmm.
the other game that we were
So
planning on playing.
I
So,
have I have a question. Is this then would you rather then buy it or wait for price drop then? If you saw
Oh,
how it is.
Ubisoft don't make you wait very long. I'll tell you that, my boy.
I know, but I mean,
Where is this? Where is this?
normally with Ubisoft I would wait, but I mean, it's Star Wars, right? So I couldn't resist getting the
same weep.
gold edition and with all the DLC and the pre-order bonus and
Mhm.
shit like that. So I'm good.
Yep.
Like I don't mind taking that risk with with the property that I love. So
Mhm.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm not waiting. Yeah, no, I'm excited for this game. I know what I like. I know what I've seen. I'm confident
yep.
in everything that they've shown and the discussions that they've gone over, the skill tree and all the other cool stuff that they've shown. Uh,
Mhm.
the to a point of one of our later things that I added, um, is a conversation about core. Is the core gameplay good, right? And
Hmm.
that's what looks good to me right now. The core gameplay, what's
Exactly.
there, looks
Yeah.
really good. So if there's some technical hiccups, like you said, yeah, sure. All right, give them, 2 to 3 weeks, let them iron it out while I play my 12 other games I got on the docket. You know,
Mhm.
Exactly.
yeah, no big deal. So yeah, no need to wait. Like we've said, I'd take that risk. There's plenty of games that people have, played or had issues with that I've had perfectly good playthroughs. So, but
Cyberpunk, eh?
yes, exactly. Cyberpunk is a perfect example of
PC
another
Master Race
game.
over here.
Yeah, where I played it on PC. I had a flawless run. Uh, and regardless, ultimately, the game went on to sell 20 plus million because, again, the core gameplay that was there was ultimately fun to play. And that's really what, a lot of these teams and stuff need to focus on because graphically, we're getting to a point where a lot of stuff looks good. I mean, most indie games look good. I mean, the game that Morgan told me about, where you play different versions of yourself, is on the screen right now, right? And this isn't a AAA game, but the game graphically looks really good. There's nothing ugly about this game on screen right now. It looks great. Um, so yeah, I don't think it'll be an issue. I don't have a problem jumping in day one. Like we've said, gold edition on deck. Uh, I'm definitely ready for it. And I don't really see any problem with the recent footage. Like I said, I already know how settings work, and I'm someone who's very attuned to graphical settings, fidelity, and things of that nature. So I've seen previous gameplay. They're not ones to really set up gameplay where it's off. Usually Ubisoft, what you get is what you see, or what you see is what you get, rather. So yeah, I'm completely confident in that. Um, and I don't know. We'll see. And I don't even know if Omar. I don't know if you plan to play it. But
Star Wars?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. And Kay's not here, but she's day one. Also,
Yeah,
the fact that the character also happens to have her name makes
but
it that much better.
again, I'm different, eh? I never cared for FPS. As long as it doesn't tip below, what you call it,
30.
30, I have no issue with that. And texture, like, I don't care. Texture doesn't affect gameplay for me. For me, what affected is game-breaking bugs, game-breaking glitches. That's when you have, that's when you're gonna have me uh upset.
Yeah,
I will
agreed.
say this, however, we have seen a lot of what you call it examples how developers just flat out don't care about showing the best version. They showed an outdated version. Um,
Well, I
tha-
explained that issue though. So the problem,
yeah,
like I
I
said,
heard
is
that.
the issue that we don't know is a lot of these places have a disconnect between the developer and what the marketing team has on hand to show, and they may have had that footage prior to show it, thought it was in a good enough state, and went on ahead and released it as is, rather than procuring a more recent version or a copy of the game from them.
Yeah, but the thing about it though too is that doing something like that, like people think it's just like, oh, you just need to snip 10 minutes out of a game and,
Yeah,
email it and then that's good. But that takes time to get a slice of a game ready to demo. And so by the
Mm-hmm.
time they get that
but
slice ready, the other team has moved on to updating it.
mm,
Um
Exactly.
so,
the thing,
you know, they can't give
the
it
thing
like
is,
the day
yeah,
of.
go ahead.
No
No,
shit,
I'm
that was
done.
it.
The thing is, I don't know if you guys remember, Valhalla was hit with the same conversation. There was an early build leak for Valhalla. YouTubers broke it to pieces and shredded it
I
and
mean,
made
people
fun
gonna
of
do what
it.
they gotta do for views.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
but
not paying attention to them.
Exactly.
the end product was anything but that. Yes, Valhalla had issue, but nowhere near that early build. It's
I
better
mean,
to wait until
people are doing the same thing with Wolverine when that got leaked. Like,
yeah. I
y'all
mean,
honestly believe it's gonna look like that with the boxes as characters? Like when the game comes out, like it's people just either they don't understand how gaming develop works, or they just want to have that clickable conversation that gets other people talking. Like it's just disingenuous people who don't know what the hell they're talking about.
it's easier to hate. They're not here for a nuanced conversation. It's hate, 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 and move on.
Well, that's
And
what generates, like she said, is they're gonna do what it takes to generate views. It sounds cooler to, hate on it, or get the people to hate watch your content. As a more That's a popular phrase lately. Getting people to watch something because they dislike it. So if you sound like you're tearing it down or whatever, they're not interested in the final product or how good it really turns out to be. They're just there to tear it down in the moment. But again, like you said, if you know yourself as a gamer, you know what you've seen, and you have a history with that developer the way that we all have at this point. Like, we know what Ubisoft is capable of delivering, and we know what their on average delivery looks like. I don't see it being an issue, right? Like, that's just where we're at. But who's new may, feel that way or think that way until they finally get, the final review or footage like that. But I'm like Weeb. I'm already gold editioned up. I'm good to go. Like, I'm not even worried about it. So yeah, I mean, that I don't think it's going to be an issue ultimately. It's just a solid talking point right now because they made that slight mistake. But like Morgan said, there's a gap between creating a curated vertical slice that you want to show people, and it's not just like she said. A lot of people are under the impression you just turn on the game, you decide, all right, we're gonna play from A to B, and that's it. And it's like, no, that footage was cut up between tons and tons of different places, showing different gameplay elements and things of that nature. My interest is more so, what is the skill tree like? How customized can I go with the weapons? How much
Yes.
can I customize my ship? Gameplay elements, core gameplay elements, things that are going to make it fun and make it fun deeper into the game the further I go, where it's not going to get stale. So, I'm still going to have things to unlock and cool, gadgets and things to work with or to mod my weapons. So that's where I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's what I want.
What a lot of people don't get to is, excuse me, developers, when they make these vertical slices, and they're playing that 10 minutes, they want it to look as perfect as possible, right? So they're gonna replay it because they want to show, oh, we need to pan up to show the cliff, or we need to slow over here to show this character, or we want to slow it down so that we can see people can see this story beat, or do this cool little thing with the gun or whatever weapon that the character has. Like, they curate the hell out of these. So that's what I'm saying. It's not just, oh, okay, let's go over to the studio and get the little latest clip and then just paste that into this 10-minute preview. Like, nah, they spend time getting these previews done perfectly. The only time that that I can think of, that I remember that they haven't really done that, or they did something different, was with God of War 2018 when Corey played it on the stage. But even then, he said he had played the game like 100 plus times just so he could make sure to get that story beat perfect when he played it on stage. And that's what they do when they do the previews. They practice so that they can basically record it in its best light. So yeah, that's kind of what happens with these previews and gameplay snippets and stuff.
Absolutely.
And it's better to move on from the topic. We beat into this.
Yeah, that's the plan. So, your favorite, and this is another one that you were particular on. So some more evidence came out about what went on with the Silent Hill and Gravity Rush creator. He went on to say that Sony did end up wanting the studio to make more games, but they particularly wanted to go the more high budget route as opposed to the games that they were famous for making, which we did state and was very painfully obvious didn't make a ton of money despite the time and development that some of them did take and the creativity stakes that they did have. A lot of people, are, cult fans of Gravity Rush 1 and 2 and so on and so forth. But the disconnect seemed to be between both of them. Obviously PlayStation, which we've spoken about, wanting to move towards a more profitable venture, as they should, understandably as a business, and wanted to go bigger budget, and he did not. So that was ultimately what forced, the disconnect, and for them to shut down Japan studios, sadly. But prior, the word on the street, everybody thought that PlayStation just pulled the rug out from under them And
Omar.
I mean, hey, that
Y'all gotta so y'all need to apologize to PlayStation because y'all were, oh man, PlayStation's so evil. They just axed Sony Studio Japan. They don't care about Japan anymore. I was like, See, now we know the truth.
Y'all can go
Okay.
find Chris. You go find Chris Righteous. I'm not crying now.
Wait, can you repeat that? Cause you bought it.
Did I? I said you can go find Chris Rice just to tell him he can stop crying now.
Oh.
Nah.
Yeah,
Man,
you need to make a
complained
formal
about that for
apology
like
to
2-3
PlayStation.
years. Holy moly.
Yeah, I mean, everybody definitely felt some type of way about the situation. But again, this is why we tell people, be careful discussing industry level things that we don't have the details on.
Yeah, people that never talk about that they were like twice as big as like a Naughty Dog and all that stuff like that, and they had all these little projects in, and none of them ever got finished. So it was like, what are we paying you for?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
At the end of the day, they
I
got to
heard that
run
talk a
a
lot.
profitable business.
They would, they'd always have 3 or 4 games that they'd and nothing would ever get finished, and they'd be trying to do something else. It's like, yo, we paying you the size twice the size of the Naughty Dog. You ain't put out a game in 5 years, and your games ain't that big. Let's be honest.
I have a question, and I take my L. I have no issue doing so. My issue now is with PlayStation themselves. They shot themselves in the
here you go.
Let me explain though. They shot themselves in the foot with this one. They came out and stated that they're closing Japan studio, okay? So why the fuck did they not share the information that we just got?
They're not obligated to share
you
that.
want them what you wanted was for PlayStation to throw Japan studio under the bus?
How are
And say,
they
oh, it wasn't us. We gave them money, but they didn't want to do it. That's what you want them to say?
Yes. So now we
That's
at least
unprofessional.
know what
That's
the
highly
fuck
unprofessional.
Omar, PlayStation is not Xbox.
Yeah, they're not obligated to do that, and that's highly unprofessional too. Like, why would you?
How is it highly unprofessional? You're being honest with
You're
your
literally
consumer.
blame because that's literally putting blame on them. Like, well, we wanted to, but they said they didn't want to, so we shut them down. Like,
but they got shredded to pieces, and we always
Omar, they are a multi-billion-dollar business. They're gonna get shredded. That's part of the game. When you're a business like this,
people
you can't
always looking at you all the time
and get in your emotions because people are shredding you or doing this. This is a business. Everything is a business, not emotion. All right, this was a business decision. They parted ways amicably, and they're not gonna throw Japan Studio under the bus and say, "Well, we wanted to keep going, but they didn't, so we shut them down." Like, no, we're shutting the studio down. We appreciate everything they've done, and we're moving on. Like that is what it is. And then
it honestly wasn't hard to figure out either. I mean, they were the biggest studio they had under their roof, over 400 people, which most studios at the time were like 100 to 200, and they hadn't made a profitable product in over a decade.
It's like, honestly, you should give kudos to PlayStation because they took the bullet for Japan Studio. People blaming them.
And 6 years more than most people.
They wanted to give them a bigger budget. That's a crazy. Like what?
They didn't. I guess they don't want to make the AAA blockbuster games that PlayStation is known for. They want to make the smaller, more unique style games and the games that they were already making. Yeah, but they didn't sell. So
PlayStation
and they never came out either. Most of them never came out. If you're making small titles and you're the biggest studio on the block, you should be getting out especially in this day, because the games didn't take as long. You know what I mean? Like, they just, that little, what was it called? Like Last Guardian, that goddamn game took like 10 goddamn years.
Shit, that took so long.
They
sold like 5 copies.
They outsourced that. That was
well, eventually they outsourced it because it went through like 5 different devs. But I mean, that's a different thing. But this is why we say it's not always budget that is the issue, or money is not always the issue. Sometimes people just don't want to do that particular thing, or there's some other disconnect. Like, in order for development to successfully take place, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things that have to happen in order to generate, number one, a successful product, but a product in general, and to get it to work well, right? We speak about that all the time with Xbox. If it was all about the money, you know, they'd be the 96 Bulls, you know,
Yeah.
of
They'd be the
gaming.
number one people on the block if it was about money.
There
Exactly.
wouldn't be a PlayStation or Nintendo anymore.
Yeah, they would have been took them out.
They'd have their own league.
Yeah, their own league. Yeah, like they'd literally be in a league of their own. They'd be unstoppable. But we know it's not like that because we sit here and we look at the very minimal purchases and minimal acquisitions that someone like Nintendo has done. And yet, if you look at the success they've generated, despite that, it has been astronomical and leaps above, you know, what they've acquired, right? Like they have made a lot of smart business decisions along the lines of, you know, so has PlayStation, at least until all the gas craziness. But again, you know, they live and they learn, and they cut half of that, right? Like these are just the things that they're in a growing phase, right? Especially, you know, in their particular case, trying to find new genres or new places to explore. But again, you got to be careful with that. You got to be able to curate that appropriately a lot of times before the public even sees it. And that's what we saw with them, again, cutting back those gas games from 12 to 6. And this was just another product of that, right? That disconnect between them. There's no need to force Japan studios. And if the lead and the majority of the studio are in line with wanting to create those games that they've been creating, you can't particularly force that, and it's not going to be healthy, nor is it even going to work in the first place, right? I get what you're saying. They should have explained the situation, but again, they don't do that because that's not how, from a company, a major company standpoint, how you report something like that. They didn't report anything negative. They reported that, you know, they were going to shut the studio down. They're not obligated to tell us any reason why. I get what you're saying, because you're saying people did this and that and assumed a bunch of stuff, but that's always going to be the case, right? Even if they came out with the full explanation, you're still going to have people that are going to be like, oh, they're lying, that didn't happen, this and that.
Sonny will straight up tell people the situation, and they'll be like, nah, Sonny's lying.
I get you, and then it would have been for nothing. You would have. I get it's just so fucking crazy how, for the longest, I genuinely believe they shut them down because they're not making money. Or
They definitely weren't. That's part of it. I mean, you can't just keep shoving money into a coal fire.
No, because they literally wanted to give him more money for a bigger budget. They didn't shut them down because they wanted money. They shut them down because they had nobody to work with. The actual leader wanted to leave.
I mean, listen, this is why I tell you to stop judging things that we don't have all the information on. You be wanting to jump in and blame Sony for everything. I'm like, listen, Omar, we don't know the full story. You got to wait till we get all the information.
Absolutely.
Because we don't know everything. And the reason, you know, you don't do that, one, like I said, it's good business. You don't want to burn bridges with people. You don't want to sit there and point blame, like, well, it was their fault. And then that's relationship. Yeah, that burns that like I said, that burns bridges, that messes up relationships, and that ruins potential partnerships when you have when other developers or publishers or whatever that may potentially work with PlayStation see that PlayStation's pointing the blame at a studio, they're not going to want to work with that. They're going to be like, oh God, oh no, so I see they have no problem pointing the blame at the people that work for them, so we don't want that. Like, it's just a business. You just take the L, you bite the bullet, you're the boss, you're in charge, so you have to just take it and bite the bullet and just say, you know, we amicably split ways, and you know, we're shutting down the studio, and we thank them for the years of service that they've given us, and you know, we're moving on as a publisher. It's
Jim Ryan got hated for it.
Yeah, Jim Ryan got hated for a lot.
And he took the brunt and moved on.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That's why they pay you the big bucks to take those bullets.
Crazy, dude.
But,
I'm genuinely flabbergasted with this one.
So take this as a lesson and learn from it.
we different. I get you on that end. It's just I wish I wish companies would be way more transparent. If they said that, I would believe them.
Yeah, but
But it,
you would believe them, but
yeah,
then it
I
would just
would.
generate a whole different story for a lot of other people who don't want to
Yeah,
believe them,
the
and
crazy
that's the
part.
issue.
The crazy part is you have no actual people believing that PlayStation is what you call it. They don't care about Japan and stuff like that. It's insane how the truth is. It
Makes me
genuinely is.
wonder what type of games, what kind of Japanese games we would have got if they had been okay with getting a bigger budget and AAA, you know, Japan studio games. Those would probably been crazy. Like
Agreed.
if
Turn-based,
yeah,
turn-based on the level of
shoot,
Legend of Dragoon, but
yeah.
actual like I am so my head is burning for this one. I'm so pissed.
Yeah,
I
I know.
hate you, but I love you
We
at
could have
the
got
same
some.
time with
We
this
could
one.
we could have got some cool games if they
Yeah,
had stayed aboard and tried to
Yeah.
branch out a little bit and got a bigger budget. Maybe we would have got a something on the that looks like Expedition 33 or something, like a new evolution
I would
or
believe
a new
that's
step, I
something
should say,
even better
with
than that because it would have PlayStation money then.
yeah, like who knows?
Um, um, I have a question. Could
Is
be
one.
this and could this be the same? Could this be the same thing for Tango?
I don't think so.
Because
The
we
situation?
know
Nope.
No.
Nah,
They already came out and said what that was.
yeah, they were very
because
vocal about that.
And the developers, they've been vocal about the situation, and they remember they wanted to make the sequel, and they were like, no, we don't want that. That costs too much money,
yeah,
and we
because
don't
they
we
lost
don't get enough in return. So
because
no.
they lost what's his name? I forgot. I
Oh
forgot
yeah,
what his name.
the creator of the studio.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So it genuinely feels like a same situation type of thing.
I mean, but they still bought it knowing, you know what I'm saying, that that was going to happen in the first place. I mean, they were very aware
yeah.
of that.
And the difference is Microsoft wasn't offering them a bigger check. It was like, okay, it's honestly the opposite. It was like, ooh, we spending too much on you and you're not giving us enough in return. So
Exactly.
we don't want to invest anymore.
Yeah, that's the opposite situation.
Yeah. They were like, okay, we gave you money, you gave us hi-fi. It was cool critically, great critical success. We saw you got the BAFTAs, you got the Game of the Year nomination, not the Game of the Year, but in a different category. You got critical praise from reviews. But as far as money, we're not really making that from you guys. So, you want to make a sequel? No, we're not
Right.
going to do that. Yeah, we lost the golden goose with the reason we bought we kept you along when we purchased Bethesda. We lost the creator of this studio, who's what we really wanted, and so we don't really see a need for you guys anymore. Thank you for High Five because we needed that during our slow time in 2022. We appreciate that, or 2023. But yeah, we're good. We're good. We're gonna
Crazy.
part ways.
Exactly.
It's crazy. It
Yeah.
generally is. Yeah. As, I am a huge Gravity Rush fan and Legend of Dragoon and Shadow of the Colossus on the stuff. So
Mhm.
when they closed Studio Japan, that hit me hard.
Yeah.
As also a person that loves Rogue Galaxy, a game that I've played. I'm pretty sure I beat him, but I'm not sure about that. So it's not like a studio that I didn't care about and they closed it and I'm hating on them for it. Like, yeah. But speaking of a game that is hated on, and it's literally on the screen. So, Innate, can you explain to us how did Sean Murphy, the dude that was hated for a long period of time became now the dude with the biggest success story in the comeback in the industry.
Honestly, uh, the whole thing is kind of a mystery to everybody. What's going on with Hello Games, because they refuse to charge for anything else.
Yeah, that's the
But
running joke, see. They're like, please, Sean, let us pay for it. We'll give
yeah,
you money.
take my
No.
money, you know, because people are like so enamored with the updates and what the team has been doing and what they've been achieving and the way they've been evolving this game for years. I don't think people even realize how long it's been at this point, right? You're talking 8 years of updates on a game you purchased one time. Like, that is
All free.
The
insane.
update,
All free. Free. Completely free.
dude. What? Okay, so a question: how, from what are they generating money then? If
I mean, eventually they did launch it on Xbox. They did eventually launch like a Switch version, limited, because obviously a lot of the physics and a lot of the crazy stuff that goes in the game isn't there. People like me bought it, twice or 4 times. We own 2 copies on PC. We own 2 copies on PlayStation. Um, so people are, essentially doing what I did, supporting it in multiple areas. Uh, for what they can. And evidently, whatever money they're obtaining from that is enough for them, however they are managing to do this, to support this game in this manner and also
Yeah.
create their new game, Light on Fire, which is also on the screen right now as well. Um, which again, they're leveraging the tech in a lot of what they learned from No Man's Sky in that new game as well. So you're talking about the multiplayer day one, a lot of learned from, a lot of the mistakes and things that they learned over the years. They're really honestly kind of the kings of procedural generation. That's something that they talk about, the way that they're able to achieve different biomes and different, essentially getting the procedural generation to do things in a specific manner that they were never able to get it to do years and years ago, right? You're getting to see what it really looks like when a team really loves a project that's passionate and expansive, uh, and can continue to just continually grow. And honestly, that's the biggest part of this whole success story, right? You're talking about a community, someone like me in particular, and a lot of people like me, or people who have come in halfway or partly, um, that have even been curious over the years to come in and join that community and get to see parts of it and how it's evolved. And some people have come to it and didn't really click at first, and some people come back. There's always something generated and something new, for you to explore and kind of take a shot at, right? A perfect example, right? I got Morgan to try it with me. It didn't particularly click, but it doesn't mean it never will, right? There's a lot of good there and a lot of dope stuff that I think that she would really love, from a gameplay perspective, and a narrative perspective. But again, it's all in the, there's so many different angles and things to this game, over the years that, like I said, the team as a whole, you can just kind of feel their passion through the updates and what they've achieved, with it. Like I said, the how, we don't know. Um, because obviously so many other teams, and so many other, developers, seem to need so much more money and so much more time to achieve fractions of what they've been able to do. And also, even some of the biggest publishers cut, support for a game like this, especially one without microtransactions, and a bunch of, DLC. They cut it, at the worst 3 or 4 years, if they're not actively, pursuing some sort of revenue from it. So again, man, the team, I was lucky enough to be there day one. I bought the game initially, and I actually liked it from day one. So that's a big difference for me versus everybody else.
interesting, even when it was their bond, and you got basically, not gonna lie, screwed over because what they showed, what they delivered was a different version, and you didn't think too much of it.
It wasn't so much of that, because for me it wasn't, the multiplayer aspect was like a foregone conclusion. Like it didn't matter to me in the way that it did for some people, right? So you had people going crazy on Twitch trying to locate each other and trying to do all this weird stuff. I'm like, man, that's crazy, man. That the multiplayer's not here, and understandably so, right? That's what some people were really going crazy over, right? Because in this one interview where they basically pressured him and he freaked out, he essentially mentioned, some form of multiplayer, and that's where the debacle really got crazy from, right? But the game I wanted, which was a game where I could jump in a spaceship, I could explore, I could take off from the planet, jump into space, go to different universes. I got that. That was my focus. So I
Not
got
every
that.
base was the same
Is it-
same layout when you got there.
Yeah, there was
Shit like that, right?
there was weird stuff going on. That again, that a lot of that stuff, like you mentioned, was fixed super early on. Like, but that's what I mean. Like, people were already kind of up in arms at that point. Like, and like I said, that the support has happened for so long that people forget how quickly a lot of that stuff was resolved and taken care of. And then they just went beyond that, and that's what's been the crazy part, right? When people thought, how many development studios, they do the bare minimum to get it back to where it was supposed to be or what they promised, and then they stop,
And then
right?
they move on.
Yeah. And it's like they didn't do that. And then on top of that, again, I don't know how they're doing it, but they're just not asking for money. Like, it got to the point where, like, I don't know if people remember it, but a bunch of the community got together. They bought the billboard outside of their studio to tell them thank you because they wouldn't take money. So there's a big billboard right outside their studio that you can see, and it says thank you. It said like thank you Hello Games for like a couple months. So they just bought it out because they were like, you guys just won't take money.
The crazy part, one, is it me or does it look even more impressive now, visual, compared to the early launch
Absolutely.
build?
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. There's been so
Dude.
much that's taken place. This game has essentially become another game multiple times. Like, they have overhauled the game over and over and over and over to the point where things that weren't possible before are now possible. Your ships can not only they can land on the water now is a big thing. Well, even before that, you could make a base and land underwater. Again, there's just so much they've done. They added HDR when originally the game launched. HDR wasn't that big of a thing. Then they redid the HDR. Then they did the PS4 Pro update. Then they came out with the PS5 version and overhauled the
VR
entire game.
version, everything.
The VR version, exactly. Like, they have done an unprecedented amount of work, and thankfully, the community and as a whole has realized that and the error of their ways at this point, and realized they have gone well beyond years and years and years worth of support and continued support for this game, because this is not it. This is the recent update that you see on screen is only part 1 of the world's update.
What?
To come. They are already working on part 2 of the worlds, and many more updates to come, as well as the upcoming expedition, which everybody can join, which is a cool starting point for people who, if you have not played the game before, they have dynamic events called expeditions that are generated by the dev team that are like dynamic community level quests that happen throughout the game, and you can kind of start all at once with everybody and participate in this huge kind of conquest and earn special rewards and all these other things that they do. Honestly, I'm gushing about it, but I mean, it's that worth it. I mean, half the time you can pick up the game for $20.
It deserves so. My thing is this this project could have easily bankrupted them.
Yeah.
That's the thing that, like how many times have we covered game getting shut down left and right? It's like a meme now. Hey, look at another Game of Life service getting shut down, which I have the feeling that's what's gonna happen to Concord, but that's a conversation to another day. With this, uh, the biggest question for me is where are they getting it from? It's not like
Yeah.
that they're doing something generic. When you look at the anime, when you look at everything, it looks fantastic. It looks unique. It looks inspiring. It looks great concept-wise. I'm genuinely flabbergasted how they were able to stay not only afloat but get to where they are now. And I'm genuinely surprised that there are not more people talking about this comeback story. People
Yeah.
talk about Final Fantasy 14. I think this is bigger than 14, in my
Oh yeah, this is
opinion.
way bigger because they're talking about a much smaller team, an indie development team which didn't have the backing of a major publisher who was able to do all this with a team at one point that was like 15 to 20. I mean, honestly, I think they're a little bit bigger now, but not
They use their
much.
own engine too. Yet I don't know.
20 people?
Bethesda can't update their shit, make their shit run good. And
20
Exactly.
I
people?
don't, you know.
Yeah, it's a very, very small team. They might, like I said, right now they might be like 35. Like it's not a lot bigger. Like they didn't balloon just because of the success of the game.
Dude, what's their secret?
I don't know,
Is
but
it the
I hope
engine that
everybody
they're
else is
working
paying
on?
attention. I mean, it is their own engine, so whatever they've been able to do or achieve with it has been impressive. The amount of updates that they've been able to throw out, the speed, um, the things they've changed per update. Uh, Honestly, I'm not sure. I know they've spoken at GDC and a couple other places. So I'm really hoping a bunch of developers are paying attention. And I mean, I wish we could have a bunch more Hello games for a bunch of games because I mean, you could get so many great games that don't need 10,000 pounds of microtransactions and could be supported for years and years and years and create something phenomenal. Like we hear it all the time, right? So many development studios have so many ideas and so many things when they're developing a game, and they just can't. They don't have the time to implement all the ideas, right? And we've gotten to see the iterations and all the ideas they've had, and even from the community, there's stuff that people in the community have come up with. Customizing ships was something I had always wanted. They implemented that like three updates ago or something, and I haven't even gotten a chance to jump and dive in on that. Um, Bringing in all new ship types, solar ships, ships that are alive, that are born, and all kinds of stuff. Like again, like people just have no idea how expansive it is. But at the same time, I also understand starting from the bottom can be feel pretty daunting. And again, even they've even considered that, like I said, with the expedition. Starting an expedition with someone, even if you're brand new, everybody starts from the same point. So that's another thing, and you can start all together. So you could jump in with a party of 4 people, and all start the expedition together. Work your way through the quest line and all the special traits together, and build up your bases and just all kinds of things, and really just kind of explore from ground zero, without all those things being ripped out of there the way Destiny did. Where they sunsetted a bunch of the original story content. All that stuff is still there. It's just all improved. It's just all better. It's all refined, and it's all built, for you to be a veteran player or, welcome new players. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it except, like I said, find it on sale. Jump in if you haven't, and take a look for yourself. If anything manages, it's a thing to explore. You don't got much to lose. The game, like I said, is not very expensive. Um, if you're on the fence, take a shot. Uh, and like I said, maybe you'll come back to it if you couldn't really get into it before. There's just it's not for everyone, like any game. But it is an impressive feat and something that should be celebrated for our industry at a time when we're talking about, like you said, a lot of studios and developers being shut down and a lot of games being shut down. Uh, their formula should definitely be monitored closely.
This should be studied.
Absolutely.
They absolutely need a what do you call it? A documentary about them. Like,
Agreed.
I'm still flabbergasted that they're not getting any money. I have the feeling that maybe they're getting accepted donation or whatsoever.
Well, they
Otherwise,
have. I'm sure they have an investor or
yeah.
investors.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
I can't see them surviving. Like, it's crazy. I can't stress this enough. When you look at what they're doing, and I'm just seeing a fraction of
Yeah.
what the actual game is, and I'm already mind blown.
Yeah. This
It's
whole snippet they did just to show you the update, I can promise you doesn't encompass, you know, 10% of what's in the update. Like they never can. They just do too much.
respect, genuinely respect to them, and I love how humble they are, and they haven't gone the corporate route with this one. This is genuinely by gamers for gamers.
Absolutely. I think, like I said, it's just the one thing I take away from it is just that it's a prime example of what a passionate team looks like when, you know, their focus is entirely on creating an amazing game, um, not overblowing the budget, not going crazy, but doing exactly what they set out to do. And I think you just you get this is just they're a great example and of what, you know, what it could look like when it's not all about making all the money, you know. It's about, you know, maintaining something amazing and creating something amazing for the players. I guess before I move on from this one in particular, my question is obviously to Morgan, because I did get her to play it. What's your opinion based on what you've seen from the update, and based on what you've played previously, Morgan? Is it something that you think you might return to in the future, or how are you feeling?
No.
Okay,
And that's
that's
not
fair.
anything on the game's quality or anything like that. It's just I know what kind of games I like, and it's just not the type of game that I like. But it's still a high quality, high polished game. From what I played, you know, and Nate try to help me walk through it and set up my little camp and get my ships and stuff and like that. But it was beautiful. It was a beautiful looking game, and you know, like I said, it was quality. It's just not a type of game that I particularly like to play. You know, those kind of open open
survival. Yeah,
worlds, yeah, survival type kind of Bethesda kind of games. That's just not particular type of genre that I'm a fan of. But if you like that, you will like No Man's Sky, and I highly recommend it if you like those type of games. But yeah, this update looks nice though. It looks like it's mostly focused on kind of updating the look of it and getting it even more realistic with like adding more textures to everything and like more detail to like the water and the waves and bigger, lusher forests and greenery. Like they're just really just kind of doing that real next gen kind of update to the game. So I mean, it looks
absolutely,
like it's gonna be good.
no doubt. Weeb, I don't know. Have you had a chance to play it? I don't know.
I played when it came out, and
Okay, you never went
then
back.
nope.
Okay. You curious, or you're just like, nah, I got too much to play?
Yeah, I'm good. Exactly.
Okay, understandable. Nelson, man, I don't know if you've played it. I heard you chime in a little bit. How are you
I
feeling?
bought it day one, but kind of like with Fallout 4, I put a lot of time into that, and then I was collecting junk to build shit, and I don't like building shit. My name ain't Bob the Builder. I built all that shit, and it was kind of for nothing, and I was like, oh, hell no, I'm done with this bull.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was feeling when I was trying to make my base. I'm just like,
I did not want to build all
that.
that, and I built shit because I thought there'd be a purpose to it, and I was just being a trash collector. I was like, I'm good.
Nah,
I was
man,
done,
I
and
get
that
it.
was the end of my Fallout. Half my time was doing shit I didn't want to do.
Understandable. I mean, I'm the same way with Ark, Survival Evolved, and
Yeah, I can't do that shit.
a
I
bunch of
hate
those
that game.
games.
My
So
buddy talked me into playing that, and I want to kick him in the dick.
Yeah, I completely get it. I
I
hate
hate
those
that shit.
games. But Rust and a couple of other games are really popular like that, and I can't stand them. So yeah, but yeah, that is essentially the story. If you guys are curious, there's a ton of stuff on the updates over the years, from directly from the No Man's Sky channel and stuff like that. So even if you're curious about seeing the start of the game versus where they are now and going through that journey, all the updates are there. You can kind of see gradually as they make the change, literally see the game's entire glow up, and what the team has been able to achieve over 8 years, which is just honestly insane to think about. Um, but yeah, uh, one other thing, this is kind of a surprise topic for you guys because I've kind of, based on what's happened this week, um, that was typically our last one, but this will be our actual last one here. Really, just a question for you guys about how are we feeling about this, the state of gaming currently, right? We've seen the whole thing go on with CrowdStrike, and the Xbox servers getting shut down. Me personally having issues, even being able to launch titles. We're talking about the inevitability of this all digital future. A lot of us, at least half of our collection is digital. Um, and what does that potentially mean for the future? How are we feeling about our if you put your finger on the pulse right now? Are you feeling confident in that all digital future? Are you feeling confident in it with some concessions? You're like, hey, as long as I got a Steam offline mode or whatever, and essentially, who do you feel is doing it best? Who do you feel confident in going forward with this potential all digital future now that we've seen the hiccups of it, and obviously how bad cloud has been with Xbox Cloud and all these other things. I'm gonna start with you, Morgan, because you have been one to experience it all: digital, cloud, all the different versions of cloud. How are you feeling about the current state of things?
That bad, huh?
Right, right. Morgan was
Wait,
like,
were you talking to me? Oh,
yeah,
I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know you called on me.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you need to name
Um,
names today.
Okay, so you're just asking who
Yeah,
I would be confident
yeah.
in
So
this
going
all digital
forward with
future,
all this
or
stuff
whatever.
that we've seen, yeah, this all digital feature, is there someone you feel is doing enough, or are there
No,
other
nobody's doing
concessions?
enough. It's never okay for us to be going all digital. Okay, I am very against an all digital future. Like, listen, I understand that some mediums have it, like, I listen to my music digitally, like on Spotify now, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't go out of my way to buy like CDs or albums like that anymore. But I don't know, it's something
I
about
don't either
like
because music's trash.
that is true though. That is true. But I don't know, it's something about gaming, especially with the fact that now you barely even own anything. Like, they can just take it away. Like, you could buy something digitally, pay that full 60, 70, 80, whatever, you paid for it. And at any point in time, they can just be like, nope, pull the plug. And you no longer have access to that. That is insane to me. Like, absolutely the fuck not. And
Okay.
even with physical, like, certain publishers, i.e. Xbox, where, if your internet isn't hooked up, or, the Xbox Live is down or whatever, like, you can't even get access to the game. Like, why? If it's a single player offline experience, why do
Yeah,
I
and if
have
you
to
have a
be?
disc and think that's gonna help, that don't help
Yeah,
because there ain't nothing on the fucking disc anyways.
why exactly? The
True.
disc is empty. Like, it's essentially a decorative piece now. Like, I am not a fan of this. I would say, I guess PlayStation does it a little better because you don't really have to be online. But even with
Mm-hmm.
that, I still, like, I see the future that they all want. I see that they they want to get rid of the physical. They want to have, that's another cost cutting measure that I'm sure they would be all happy about. Like, oh, look, we don't have to print discs anymore, print cases. It's not like it costs crazy amounts, but hey, that's something that you can take off the budget now.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what they want. But I no, I am not a proponent of it. I still want the CD drive on my console next gen, right? Like I don't think that it, like, the whole revolution or whatever will be coming next gen, and we're not gonna have disk drive next gen. I don't know. Physical is still very important, and it's still like like it's still one of the main ways that a lot of people around the world can consume games. Like, a lot of people can't consume them digitally, whether it's because of like internet.
That's why Xbox
Or-
is so cool with it, because they're fucking not worldwide.
Yeah,
Like, nobody gives a shit about
exactly.
them.
Exactly. It's like those regions aren't even Xbox regions anyway, so they don't.
Oh, the 12
They
people
don't
that
care.
we're gonna buy Xboxes we can't sell to. Oh no, what are we gonna do?
Exactly. So it's just like I'm not a fan of that. I still love my physical. I love my collector's editions. I love my steel books.
Mhm. You don't want to have to depend on limited run games for them.
Yeah, the thought that I won't be able to look at my games over there on the side, like it'll just all be in my PlayStation. Like, I just don't trust companies enough to put that in their hands, that whether or not I can play this game tomorrow depends on them. Like, I don't want to give them that much leeway. Like, I don't trust them that enough. Like, yeah, I could play it today, but tomorrow you never know. Yeah, like we see games getting pulled all the time, right? Like, oh, studios make announcements. You will no longer be able to have access to this game starting, September 30th or something. They're gonna pull access to the game that you purchased. But hey, we'll give you like these little in-game tokens or some credits that don't even add up to what you pay for. But hey, take this. And
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the idea of having an all digital future when it comes to gaming. Like, I get the convenience of it. I like the convenience of it because sometimes, I don't want to go out to get something, or I want to play something at midnight, and you have to wait to get the game or get it shipped to you or whatever.
Yeah, because
so
you used to have to depend on a midnight launch happening before you could even if you wanted to go get it.
It's like there are conveniences to it, but again, it shouldn't. Taking away options is never a good thing.
Agreed.
It should be, both options should be readily available for all games. I'm a proponent of that. Like, I get that a lot of indie developers can't afford to produce actual physical discs for their games, and so I get that they can only do the digital release, which cool, because maybe if it was a requirement to do physical, or if digital wasn't available, maybe a lot of games wouldn't exist because they just don't have the budget for it. So I get it when it comes to small teams
If you're
and small
only
developers.
gonna sell 10, 15,000 copies or 100 copies or 1,000 copies, you ain't never gonna get that money back.
Yeah, so I get it when it comes to small teams, but if you're a big publisher, like, there's no reason that Hi-Fi Rush got a physical, like, the only physical version was from freaking what's the motherfuckers I hate, the LFG people or whatever, the limited runs people. That should not be the only sort. Like, that game is published by and owned by $1 trillion company. There's no reason that there shouldn't have been a physical release for that game. Same way for Hellblade. I was very upset because I was like, are they going to do like a physical like they did? I mean, even the first freaking Hellblade had a physical release, and that was when they were independent, right? They didn't have the backing.
Had like a $12 million budget.
Yeah, they didn't have the backing of Xbox, and they still had a physical release. But now you're owned by Xbox, and there's no physical. It's just digital and through Game Pass and stuff like that. I'm like, I was looking forward to getting the physical that. Like, I mean, I think they could have made a crazy looking steelbook with that game. And now, my guess is when it ever comes to PlayStation, or if it ever comes to PlayStation, they'll get like a limited run physical release then. But again, I'm not purchasing.
I'm sure
Xbox
I do not was like, well, they don't even buy digital games.
Oh yeah, I know why they didn't do it. I know why they didn't do it. They were like, oh, there's no point because they're not going to buy it. So I get it, but that's your fault again for changing the business plan to Game Pass.
in the court hearings, even Call of Duty is every year the best selling game on Xbox. If a game that's the number one selling game on your platform wants to drop your platform, you know you ain't selling very many copies of anything.
Yeah, it's just it's
You remember
frustrating.
did you remember that? They were like, we got to raise the rates on you because you ain't even worth our time. That's the number one selling game every year for Xbox. I mean, what's that tell you?
It's just it's upsetting.
What's our time?
And I'm not a fan of that future. I want options, and especially now with especially when it comes to places or publishers like PlayStation, they have, like I said, they have their positives with, the offline play, but then they also their digital storefront is the only storefront that you can buy PlayStation or buy games for their system. Like there's no third party storefront that you can buy digital games from. Like you can't get it, discounted here or there. You have to buy it off of the PlayStation Store, and that's it. And a lot of the times, the PlayStation Store's prices, like they have a lot of sales, but sometimes it'll be like a game that's 3 or 4 years old, and it's still, and they got it up there for $69.99, and I'm like, why? Why is this game that's 4 to 5 years old?
Why is it got to go
$70
from on sale $4.99, and then when it comes off of sale, it's got to go back up to $70? Like, ain't nobody buying that shit.
Yeah, because I remember Red Dead Redemption, the Ultimate Edition or something, was like $20 on the summer sale, but then after the summer sale, it went right back up to like $89. I was like, oh, why?
Exactly.
Why is this? Why are you doing this? And then, like I said, you can only purchase digital games from PlayStation. From
they got to bring
that
back that greatest hits.
Yeah, so it's just like, with the limited stores that you can purchase digitally from, at least with PlayStation, and physical being, the best option when it comes to sales. Like, physical games go on sale a lot better and a lot quicker and cheaper than the digital storefront. And, like I said, it's about options. And I'm never a fan of, companies taking options away. Because for what? Because when they do that, it's only to benefit them. It's not to benefit us. Like, there's no benefit for us for physical to go away. But yeah, that's just how I feel about it.
Absolutely. No, I get it. Yeah, like you said, that is definitely a big issue to consider, the pricing and all the other issues that come along with the convenience of digital. There's a bunch of negatives coinciding with it that definitely have not been addressed. Like you said, the constant pricing fluctuations, non-permanent price cuts, things like that. I definitely get where you're coming from. Weeb, I want to go to you next, man, because I know you're a big collector.
Physical king over here.
Yeah, you love your physicals. You're always down, especially when you really love a game. So is there anything they can do to, maybe not all digital, right? But is there anything they can do that would make you feel more confident about about your digital library going forward? Any concessions or things that they can make that you would like to see?
My man, I'm a gaming prepper. I have a full collection of physical games. I buy games physically, even if I own them digitally, just in case, when the gaming apocalypse hits us, and I can just play my physical games offline, no worries, until my retirement. So yeah, I'm prepared for that bullshit. Like,
he's getting his bunker ready. I love it.
Exactly, my gaming bunker. Yeah, I mean, look, that yeah, I mean that's the whole reason why I keep buying them physically, aside from the steel books and stuff like that. But like having them physically, like look, sure, there's always this people are saying, yeah, it's convenient, you have it digitally because you don't have to have a shelf or whatever to store your games. It takes less room. Um, it's basically always with you. Yeah, sure. Technically, if a fire breaks out or something, yeah, my collection is gone. If my digital collection is still available, as long as I don't forget my password. But the other hand, I think it's far more likely that you're going to lose your access to your digital account for whatever reason, than you're going to lose your physical game collection. So I'd say I'm pretty good, with having mostly my games physically. Like, you know, given the choice, I always will go for physical, unless it's like a game that's yeah, that I can beat that price anyway, in any form. Or it's not like I said, Morgan. Some Indian games are only digital, so there isn't really an option there, unless you want to wait out for that limited run edition that might or might not come.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, and even if it does, like it's going to be sold out before you even know it. Um, but yeah, I mean that's like, and I do sometimes even buy just a game physically, just to have it physically. Like if I really like the game, if there look, let's be real, like I don't have the time to replay games, but still, like supposedly at some point in time, let's say we're really gonna have a dry year, I might go back to playing a game that I really love, and just wouldn't mind replaying again. And then it's great to have that physically because you can play it anytime you want. You're not tied to your account, or the servers being up, or whether or not your preferred company decides to get out of gaming. That's also a risk for at least one camp, I suppose. um yeah, I mean, and even like that's sort of also why I will never make Xbox my main, because they have the problem that you don't own anything. Like they prove that they've proven that again and again with whenever there's a server outage, you can't play your games, which is insane. Like,
You
why
can't
the
even
hell
set your
do I?
Xbox up without internet.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah. I
yeah, the
mean,
one-time connect. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, look, and that's not yeah, yeah. It's bad, but like the fact that you can't play your offline single player games, that you bought, even if you bought them physically, you can't
Mm-hmm.
play them on your Xbox if the servers are down. Like, that's terrifying, because it sucks if it happens, if the servers are down, but like it just means that if Microsoft decides, yeah, we're good with gaming, like we're gonna reinvest that money elsewhere, this is not going to work, then then you're fucked, because unless they decide to make a patch or whatever to make those games available offline, which we don't even know if that's even possible. But
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft, like, they don't give a fuck. They're just gonna tell you, yeah, fuck it, like, yeah, you shouldn't buy an Xbox then. I
Oh.
mean, yeah, that's just the thing. Like, that's why I can never you know vibe with Xbox, because they're not really giving me that option. Like, there is no point in buying a game physically for Xbox, because you don't really own it. You don't really have always access to it,
It's just a blank
regardless
disc.
of. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the deceptiveness of, like, they're selling it like as a feature, like, oh yeah, with when they launched the Series X, like, yeah, you don't have to buy they're separate versions. This is one version, and it can be played on both the OG Xbox One, and the Series Xbox. But what they're not telling you is that you're basically just buying the physical version of the one Xbox One, and if you put it into a Series X, it just downloads a patch to upgrade it, so you don't actually own
Mm-hmm.
the Series X
Oh, I
version on
get.
disc.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. Like, and that's sort of the thing. Like, yeah, sure, if I buy, yeah, like if I want to have the PS5 version, well, yeah, there's obviously a lot of games that offer a free upgrade, but like if I want to have it physically, then I have to buy the physical PS5 disc. And yeah, I can play it on a PS4, but like at least I have that physically. Like I have the option. I think it's like
Yeah, it's an option.
yeah, and there's no real point like going back to the PS4 because you can play all your PS4 games on the PS5, right? It's going forward that's your better option, and there's nothing in like if they decide with like the PS6 or whatever and say now you also need to be always online, like then that will be for me the decision to say okay
Oh God.
fine, I'll keep my PS5 because that's my offline console, and look for maybe then it's going to be PC Master Race or whatever. But then the problem with PC is of course that you also don't really have any physical games anymore. Everything is digital there. But you have options like GOG which is DRAM free, and we're not going to talk about the other option. But I mean that like again like that's sort of the for digital. I don't think there's anything they can do to convince me it's a better option. Like right now it's not even the more affordable option. Like Morgan said, like these games are always full price when they launch. Like they're never like it is ridiculous. Like I understand why they're doing it, but it's ridiculous if you think about, because it should be cheaper if you buy digitally. Like they should be literally cheaper to produce,
Facts.
and you're not getting anything. You're basically paying a full premium because it's so detached from reality, because there are almost no retailers that actually sell you that game at the full retail price. Like I never pay full retail price for any of my physical games. I always find a shop that will sell it for like probably 10% or more discount. Like it's like there's not really any advantage for me to get it digitally. Like all the conveniences that you can mention, like sure, but are you really willing to pay 10 20 dollars, euros, whatever more for getting it digitally? And that the only sort of deceptive nature, so the way they can sort of pull you over is because, and you see that more often, is that there's differences between the deluxe editions of the physical and
Oh,
the
yeah.
uh, digital edition. Like that's
Yep.
sort of with Final Fantasy. Like I got that digitally because they literally just had summons behind basically the digital deluxe edition. So that's something like, okay, yeah, sure, like I want to have those, so I went for the digital edition. But like if there's but in general they're not, to say the incentives are not um enticing enough for me to just go ahead with the digital edition. Like again, you
You don't
have
want
to
those digital stickers, Weeb?
or digital art books or like seriously, dude, like what the fuck do I need a digital art
Exactly.
book? Like
Facts.
that's the thing. These things are like the extras, right? Like when you get a collector's edition, like Steelbook or books, like that's the kind of thing you want to have. Like if you really love a game, or
Mm-hmm.
like what the fuck do I need with a digital art book, or some dumb avatars, or a background which you can't use because you're playing on PS5.
Yeah, the
So
avatar thing
yeah,
is hilarious.
Yep.
It's only ever
yeah.
occasionally useful, like when you really love a
Uh,
game, like, The Last of Us Part 2, like, Morgan has uh, Ellie or whatever, then it makes sense. But, like,
mhm.
90% of the time, you don't care about those things because you're not changing your avatar anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, they're. I mean, already. I'm physical all the way.
Mm-hmm.
I will only buy digital if I don't have a choice, or if there's a deep sale that, and I don't think like I mean, sure, like I buy plenty of games at the PlayStation sale, even if there might be available physically. But the difference is like, do I care enough about that game to like if I lose access to it, that would affect me. Like if it's a game that's a couple of bucks and like I want to just try and see if I like it, and there's still a potential possibility that if I really like it, I'm just gonna go ahead and buy it physically. Like I did that with Midnight Suns. Like I played that, with the subscription of PlayStation Plus, and I liked it so much that I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna buy it physically. And that technically I could have gotten, because it wasn't sale at that point in time, so I also could have gotten the deluxe edition with all DLC, the season pass and all, cheaper than buying it physically. But I'm like, I like this game. And of course the added limitation there was that it wasn't a subscription service, so you never know when they're going to kick it out, and then then you're basically you're on a time limit, whether they're telling you that or not.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't like that, because I don't want to be pressured into having to finish that game, before they get rid of it in the service. Like I want to play that when I want to play. Like we all have the problem right now that we have so many games in our backlog, and this year keeps on giving. Like we have to make choices, and you want to just play the game. You probably want to play them all, but there's probably always going to be that game that you want to play right now. Like when
Exactly.
August hits, like we want to play Star Wars. Like we're not gonna leave it and wait for and play anything else in our backlog because we bought it first or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that kind of lost my train of thought there, um, but yeah, no, yeah, with the subscription service, like yeah, I don't want to just have to postpone that, because there is a game in the subscription service that I have to play first, because I might
It's leaving or
risk.
something.
Yeah, or you don't know. Like sometimes, like I had it with the Final Fantasy when Rebirth dropped. Just then all the Final Fantasy games that are like the classic ones, the 9, I think 10 as well. Uh, they were all like available on PlayStation Plus Premium or whatever. I don't know. These tiers are fucking, but
Yeah.
but our thing is extra. But they were also then like I was still busy finishing Rebirth. In the meantime, yeah, okay, it's leaving.
Yeah, that happened to me too.
Fuck.
I was playing Final
Yeah,
Fantasy
yeah,
X and it got removed,
yeah,
so I just bought it.
yeah. Yeah, the worst part was actually but I think it was a glitch or something, because I couldn't. Because okay, then like I think it was 9. I really like 9. I think I'm gonna buy it then, but then they said, yeah, you can't buy it because you already have it in your
Oh,
library, because
because of the weird thing with
yeah,
Plus. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's annoying.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like I
yeah,
can't I can't ever see the sale price for
yeah.
certain games because there's a trial for them. So it always says it's
Oh
on
yeah.
trial, so you actually have to physically go to it to see the price.
Mhm.
Yeah, I get
Yeah,
that. Yep. Another
yeah, yeah,
issue.
and the problem was that there was a sale going on, but that sale was ending before the game was gonna leave the service.
Yep. Yeah. That's why
Yeah.
I had to buy 10 before it left the service because the day it was leaving the service was the day the sale ended. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I know.
Yep.
But for me, that at least I think either they fixed it, or there was maybe another sale right after that. But
Mhm.
because I was eventually able to buy it at a discount, but yeah, at the moment I wasn't able to buy it. So it was like, yeah. So the sale is gonna end before you're gonna allow me to buy it. So that's what's kind of fucked up. But yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. Like that's a problem with probably that's how they calculate it, because they say, oh yeah, we just released a major title in the series, so we're gonna of course put all these games in our service because people are gonna be interested in those, and they're gonna try them and they like them, and then we're gonna remove them from the service and people have to buy them. Like that's probably the strategy behind that. And probably would do the same if I was them, because it makes total sense, of course. But yeah, that's kind of the thing that's specific with subscription services. But again, with digital, like if I can help it, I will always get physical. There is not really much they can do to convince me otherwise. And I don't really see any benefit at this point in time. Like, and especially like if you like, obviously with a PlayStation, you're not gonna drag your collection with you. But then again, the PS5 is not exactly a very compact console, so you're not likely gonna move that when you're on holiday or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, just take the Switch. I mean, obviously handheld, but like you can have your full physical collection, and basically put it in your pocket, because that's how small the cartridges are. Um, so yeah, it doesn't really matter if you only have physical or as opposed to digital in that sense. Um, so yeah, so conclusion is physical all the way, baby.
Definitely.
Facts.
Nah, I definitely feel you. Um, Omar, I know you're in a unique predicament. I haven't really seen you care one way or another, but did you have anything different that you want to add, or do you just kind of agree with where they're going with it?
So if it's up, look, I game share a lot, whether I share with other people or other people share with me. So I'm getting help from digital. But at the same time, when you look how the industry is heading, how again, I didn't buy it, yet look how pissed I was when I heard that the DLC for or expansion for Destiny 2 was no longer available.
Yeah.
Like, that's your hard-earned money. You paid for it and you got fucked over like that. As much as digital, I mean physical is trash when it comes to game-breaking bugs that can't be fixed, or what you call it, older builds that you're stuck with. At least you have the ability to play them. While digital, if they choose to kill that, to remove that game is no longer available. Look at Drive Club. That's no longer available.
Yeah.
I play it.
Sorry?
Well, yeah, anything with license, you're not gonna be able to buy no more. That's never gonna stop.
What I was
Yeah,
saying,
that's
like
what
if
I'm
you
talking
had
about.
the
Like,
disc though, then you can
yeah,
still play it. Yeah.
if you have the
If you have
disc,
if you have a digital, you can play it too. You just can't play it online.
Yeah, but I'm saying you
you,
can't purchase it. I'm talking about purchase
you
wise.
can't buy it.
Yeah, but anything licensed, like Spider-Man, you're not gonna be able to buy it anymore someday too.
That's the
Licenses don't
crazy.
last forever.
I mean, it'd be a long ass
Digital,
No,
time,
but
physical.
but
no, physical. No, you can physical. If you put the Drive Club physical disc in your PS5, you're gonna be able to run it.
Yeah,
Or
but if you bought
4.
it digitally, you're gonna be able to run it too.
yeah, I wasn't
Yes, but
arguing
the difference.
the already purchase. I was talking about the issue with purchasing it because
Yeah,
of
But
licensing. Yeah.
the difference
yeah, they don't
is,
make no more. They don't make no more of them. Whatever's out there is out there. So.
yeah, I can look up Drive Club and buy it if I want to, physical. But I can't digital.
Nope.
And the my issue is with digital is, and that's gonna be a whole rant. I saw a clip from you, Nathan, showing a picture with you and your kids and a game with a catalog in it or stuff like that. And I instantly went back to memory lane and just had to accept the reality that we're paying more for less. Physical, you are you lost so many things. Catalog, you lost stickers, goodies, and whatsoever. And when you look at digital, why are we paying that exact same price? Why is
Yeah.
that not price cheaper?
Yeah,
You're
I'm a
not
proponent of digital should be cheaper because we're not
you're
paying
not
for the actual disc.
you're not
Agreed.
paying for distribution, you're not paying for disc, you're not paying for the material. So my biggest issue is how can um is there no consumer protection bureau like FTC or whatsoever? How are they not advocating them for changes in the industry? And that my biggest industry is there is nobody to regulate this industry. And we don't have the power. Sometimes we do. Most of the time we don't. And physical versus digital, at the end of the day, they both have the pluses and minuses. But as of right now, physical is still winning. Unless you have family, or rather, what you call it, you
I have
like to,
family. They wreck shit and they can't play
yeah,
the
but
same game I'm playing. So
I'm strictly
that's where I'm
talking
at. If
about,
when my kids move out, I'd probably go to 50-50. Like bigger games, I would get physical, and smaller games, I would get digital.
I'm
But I'm all
strictly
digital
talking,
because kids wreck shit, and I don't have to worry about them fighting and game sharing and.
I'm more
Uh-huh.
strictly talking about game sharing. If
Yeah,
you want to game share with your with your family that
that's
lives
pretty.
in a different
That's
city
That's
or
pretty
why I'm all
much.
whatsoever,
digital.
Yeah, that's pretty much why I'm like 90% digital.
you can do that. And look at, I forgot, I think Steam.
Like it's gonna be rough for a couple months till the Pro comes out, because when Astrobot comes out right now on PS5, and even if I had a disc, you can only play with my kids gonna be arguing and fighting and shit. But at least when I get another PS5 that I'm playing, I can be like, all right, flip a coin. One of you can go play in that room. The other one, shut up, and go watch a movie. I don't know what to tell you. So
Hmm.
I
yeah,
think when it comes to game sharing, it's gonna be either go one of the way of the other. Either they gonna implement additional ability to game share with more people, or they're gonna take it all the way. Cause
Well, that's
companies
the
don't love it.
danger. That's the danger that Morgan was talking about. It's like while we have it right now, who's to say that once it's all digital, they don't just say, well, that's not a thing anymore.
yeah, right. Game sharing's gone now.
Yeah. So yeah, you
I
got to
can
be
We
definitely
very
see
did
that.
see
cautious.
we did see a company on PC opening it up. I forgot which one,
You mean
and
Steam with the
improving
family
upon it.
plan?
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, Steam you can share your games across. It doesn't work the same way as sharing on consoles because you can't play at the same time unless there's multiple copies in the family, but up to 6 people can share their library with each other. So, yeah, that was a much better solution to what they had before.
my biggest issue is this: if you want consumers to stop buying your game secondhand, treat them well. If you know a game is gonna go in discount soon, put a fucking disclaimer that says before you buy this game is going in discount in a day or two. This way people don't feel ripped off if they buy a game and then a day later it goes in discount.
Yeah, they're not gonna do that.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna
no,
say
no,
that
no,
right
that's not what I'm talking about. This
The only thing that
industry
bothers
needs
me about digital
regulation.
is that if I did call a kid a little goddamn peckerhead or something like that, I could end up getting locked out of my shit or something. That's
Yeah,
why
you got to be careful with
I,
your
I,
account.
I choose who I play with carefully. But still, if if you take my network access away, that's one thing. But to take my fucking library of games, you know what I mean? Like my single player games and shit like that. If I was banned from the network,
Oh
that's one
yeah,
thing. But
I'm
that's the only
sorry.
issue I really have. Really
Yeah, I'm
bothers
sorry.
me.
I take it back. I take it back. I know I went on a whole tirade and rant. Now, physical all day. You know why? Because they can take away your game and accuse you of something that you didn't do, and get your account shut down.
Yeah, that's
You
Yeah, they should be
have
able to
really
kick you
dangerous.
off the network. It's their network or whatever if you violated whatever. But to block you out of your own games that are single player offline,
Yeah,
you
I
should
think
still
that
be
I
able to
no.
think
play
I'm
that
games
not talking
without
about
that
that.
should
I'm
be
talking
illegal.
about. I'm talking
that should
about
be
getting
illegal.
reported for something that you didn't do,
I'm
and
just talking
literally.
about even if you did do it, them taking your single player games. If they want to ban you from the network because you're what's the word I'm looking for, hostile or
Toxic.
vulgar or whatever the hell kind of word you want to say it is. You're not a good influence on the community or children or whatever, trying to protect their other customers. That's one thing, but to take your single player games away is a different thing because your network, it's like, okay, we can't try, this guy's a little fucking out there. We can't allow him to be talking to kids or whatever this way or whatever, calling them little peckerheads or whatever, but he should still be able to play offline games, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
I agree.
Xbox, a few months, not few, half a year ago, maybe close to a year ago now, an Xbox lady got her entire account taken down. She was about to lose all her games because of a not misunderstanding, just something that happened that wasn't even her fault. If not for her going on Twitter complaining and other and even more notable, bigger people on Twitter complaining about it and defending her, she would have been get screwed over. And that's the danger of digital. You don't have a backup. If they take your account down, it's over.
But wouldn't you still not be able to play even if you have a physical, since it's linked to your account?
No, you
Sorry,
can still pop it and play.
you can still
Oh,
pop and play.
Yeah, but to the
got you.
notion of the person you're talking about, that is a issue of security, because that person, this is something I bring up to people all the time. I don't care how annoying you think two-factor authentication is, you need to have it on, because
I have it on.
that's
Yep.
actually what happened with that person's account and why it got taken. Somebody got into their account and they needed to get it back. They proved that they were them, but they never had two-factor on, and if they had two-factor on, they wouldn't have been able to get into it at all. So just a heads up, if you don't have it on and you value your account, I advise you to turn it on whatever it is. So, yep, that's the moral of that story. But yes, there are other issues that do crop up that are not necessarily your fault. I do remember Sick in particular had an issue where uh, this is again where game companies need to get their shit together and understand what's on their network and the things that they have in place. Um, Sick had got a trophy for getting all the Playboy magazines or something in like Mafia or something, and it like
Yeah,
auto took a screenshot, and you know how it used to say like the about section on PS4, so that still gets updated even though you're on your PS5. So it took a screenshot and it happened to show up and somebody reported it as like porn or something. And of course, the algorithm somehow, recognized that, and he was like locked out of his account for like a week before they basically essentially rectified the situation. But again, like that never should happen. Like this is something in game, something he didn't even take a picture of, and even if he did take a picture of it, it's in the game. He didn't post it. PlayStation auto posted it based on the fact that it was like a trophy or whatever, and somebody saw it and reported it because of the about me section. So yeah, that's another issue with your account, and ways that these companies need to do a lot better, and why automated systems are not a good solution for stuff like that. But yeah, that's another issue with not necessarily digital, but accounts, like account wide issues.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, there is no protection to us gamers.
Yeah. It sucks. We got to do the best we can. But yeah, I mean, your precautions, take precautions. Don't be a shithead online. And try to conduct yourself accordingly so that, you don't give them a reason to. So, but, I mean, Nelson kind of said his thing already as well. Did you have something you wanted to add, or you're good as well, Nelson? Okay, Nelson's good.
Nah,
He's quiet. So,
I'm good.
we're gonna call it. That's the end of the show. Again, great show. 2 hours and 30
You don't want to
minutes.
talk about
That's where I
FTC
like
maybe
it.
waking up?
Absolutely not. We are
No?
out of here, ladies and
How
gentlemen.
dare
Fuck
you?
the
We're out of
FTC.
here.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want. When they actually get something done, then we'll talk about the FTC.
Okay.
Until next time, we're going to go ahead and get ready to get out of here. Thank you for everybody who popped into the chat. Henry, Priscilla, everybody who was there. It was a great show. Again, rather than doing the outros the normal way, there's no real need to, because if you're interested, all of our ads are at the bottom of the screen. And in the interest of having to get up out of here, you guys can check them out. You can find all of us at our respective Twitter accounts at the bottom of the screen. And otherwise, it's been a wonderful and amazing show. Thank you to Morgan, Nelson, Weeb, Karaba, Otter Nation. Shout out to Kay.
Otter Nation.
Otter Nation. And
I'll be
also,
listening to y'all from
Very
vacation
quick.
next week.
absolutely.
Oh God.
I want to say one thing very quick.
Oh
Shout
man.
out to you and Morgan for the thumbnail.
No doubt.
Oh, I didn't do it. It was all.
Nah, but a few weeks ago you did it, so
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. And one more thing before we go. Very happy birthday to Sanctus Temple, a friend of the show.
Happy birthday, Sanctus.
Yeah, she was tuning in. I talked to her a minute ago. She's having fun. So congrats to her on her birthday, and hopefully she enjoys it and has a ton of fun. And we're out of here.